I need to stop. I've been doing too much, I've been running too fast, I've been testing my luck. I've been living cloud nine, I've been at it all night, I've been feeling so loved. I've been waking up lit, I've been making up shit, I've been spilling my guts. I've been feeling so blessed, but stressed all day, so what? I'm living out my dreams like every night. I love my life, but when I open up my lonely eye, it's nice. Fuck my life. I need to chill. I've been getting my pill, I've been spreading that sex, I've been spinning my wheels. I've been having my ties, I've been loving bad guys, I've been seeking some thrills. I've been wanting one more, then I'm wanting like four, I've been having some guilt. I've been feeling so blessed, but stressed all day for real. I'm living out my dreams like every night. I love my life, but when I open up my blurry eyes, it's not as nice. Fuck my life.
will see me and Silent, but my computer actually explodes if I video chat with someone on Discord for whatever reason. Also, make sure your Streamlabs is turned off because it might pick up your camera.
Yeah. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I figured. I do that all the time. But yeah, so I did a test because I somehow stream off a laptop, guys. Fun fact. But
Oh man,
nice.
Camera looks hella crazy on fucking Discord.
I know.
Ugh.
Okay, so this is. Bear with me, guys. It's gonna be slightly scuffed, but this is how it's supposed to work. Hold up. Where's my video now? Boom. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Man, I feel like I need to zoom my shit in.
Not as scuffed. Okay, I can also just do that. It looks nicer like this. It's okay. I can sit back. I'll sit back. Does that work?
Yeah, I like it too because it makes me look tiny, and it makes you look like you're like towering over.
Which is not the case at all. Big 5'7" Italian Puerto Rican over here. All right, let me do this too.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can fucking mess with my video though.
This is scuffed. Don't worry. I am not expecting big things from this. It's more of just a nice talk with a good friend, and we'll see where it goes, man.
Let's see where it goes. Let me fuck with my camera just a little bit. You haven't started recording the podcast
I'm using the VOD, and I'm gonna cut it from the Twitch VOD, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Cool.
So you can do whatever you want. That's what the great things about editing are. So let's just say hi to chat while you do that. I'm gonna say, okay, what's up, MCC Weeb? Report silent. Okay, all right. I mean, if that's how you feel. Silent face reveal. Never seen that guy. Look at this dude. Yo, what's up, Violet? How you doing? Glad to have you guys. So I apologize that you can't see my face, but yeah. Well,
Can you let me fucking fuck with this thing? Is it because the camera's being... Okay, hold on. We're going to try something.
Okay. Also, you guys like my overlay? I spent all day doing this. Oh, no. The DMs, they're getting leaked.
Oh, God. The DM leak.
It's okay. I put a bunch of... You guys can't see anything.
Why is my camera...
All right, I'm going to put on some...
There we go.
Some soothing background noise.
Ew.
Ew.
No, I mean, my camera. I'm looking at the camera, and it's like all fucked up.
How dare you put that wall? Sorry, man. Change social media tags? Wait. It was just said silent. Wait, hold up. I scuffed it. Oh, no. I scuffed it. Thank you, Kurt. I actually scuffed it. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm actually double promoting myself right now. Holy moly. Oh no, I scuffed it. Does this change both of them?
I can't figure it out. I think we're just gonna have to make it look stupid.
It's okay. It's all good. I think it looks fine. Do you use your Twitter, by the way? I looked it up and it looked like you didn't. Okay. So I'm gonna just...
Yeah, wait, is there a Twitter for my name? I hope not.
If you want one. So I have social media links here. I'm just gonna do this. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. All right. Well, this is incredibly scuffed, but we'll roll with it. Is that okay? Do you see my stream for your social links? I have your Twitch. Does that work?
All right, whatever.
Whatever.
I just feel like I look hella fucking squished. Also, is it just me or is my audio not synced with the...
So you're not going to be synced with the stream because it's like a 2-second delay. So It might be a little weird for you. I can see you in real time. So this is why it kind of sucks because I do have a laptop. I cannot video chat with you. So I'm at this camera right now is a scene, whereas I'm picking up the actual Discord.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? It's kind of shitty, but like unfortunately, like I didn't realize that my computer overheats when I do video chatting on top. I don't know why I can't video chat, but I can stream myself.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I will be. Oh, we should put a donation down there for raising money for a new laptop or a new computer because I do want to switch to a new computer. Okay. Who's the loser with the swords? I don't know.
I think you might know this loser. That's where you get them.
All right, so let's get this started.
Friend.
You all good?
Got a
You all
glass of
situated? I got my glass of wine. I know you said you wanted to whip something out.
Yeah, I kind of do, but I don't know if I can start now.
Don't worry.
Fuck it.
I drink slowly.
fuck it.
So okay, fuck it.
No, I'll be right back.
There we go. All right, there we go. If you're in the chat and you're over 21, feel free to grab a drink, because we're gonna be. I don't know how long this is gonna go. So guys, to give you an idea, I'll just do an introduction from me for Silence Chat. So my name is Rio. You can call me Rio, Riofacer, Mark, whatever works. I'm a streamer. I'm a Yasuo ADC one trick pony that plays in the bot lane, hit Diamond 2. It's literally all I do. I'm currently in a tournament to play top lane, so you might see me playing top lane, but I'm a league streamer mostly. But I always have conversations with my chat about some fun stuff and some interesting topics. And I decided to have the idea of, fuck it, let's make a podcast, poggers. So I came up with this idea. I've talked to Silent on the side. I know he's an awesome dude. I'm afraid of how this is going to go. I'm not going to lie, because me and Silent had an amazing conversation off stream. And
Sparkle drinks, there's only one.
so me and him had an amazing conversation when I brought this idea up to him off stream, which could have been the podcast itself. So I'm hoping that we can, like, I don't know, not even replicate it, but do something similar. Welcome back. So I'm just doing, he can't hear me. I'm just doing a quick intro of who I am to your chat and how I got the idea of the podcast. So,
Just so you know, there's like right above, like on your stream,
yes.
right above your camera,
Is that
on the far right.
I see it.
There's like some.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Hold up. Which panel do I have to touch to fix that? See? Scuffed. But this won't be in the VOD. All right, hold up. Aha! Got it. All right.
Got it. Get out of here, thing.
All right. So, going off of that, yeah, so let me go get my popcorn. So, we have no idea how long this is going to last. I probably have, I'm going to give you guys straight up the format, because I feel like that would be cool. So, straight up, we're just going to start out with introductions, talk about like our streaming backgrounds, what got us into streaming. If anybody's got questions about streaming, we'll look at chat. We are going to do that and then kind of just go wing it after that. So me and Silent had like I said, we had a conversation the other day that could have been the podcast itself. I mean, let's be honest, it was good. And so we just realized when we sat down and got a list of things together, we couldn't think of jack shit. So we decided, let's just fucking wing it. And I think those are the best kind of moments when you kind of just wing it. So we're just going to wing it. And the overall arcing premise of this show, I want to have, I'll say, deeper conversations with streamers. But for this one, we came up with the idea of kind of just doing a little bit more upbeat. Like, maybe we go into some history. Who the hell knows where we go? We'll see. We'll just go with the vibe. But like, I'm not going to force it where I might on like other shows where I want to like stick to a specific topic on future shows. This one's more of open format. We're just going to wing it and have some good conversations. It could go anywhere though. I'm going to be honest. It could go anywhere. So, and you guys know Silent. Some of you guys know me and we talk about some shit. So, so that's me. That's my introduction. Nice to meet you guys. Hello. Now, Silent, if, oh, that is a nice glass. Wait, okay.
No,
look at it. Okay, yo, cheers. Let's cheers to the start of the stream. There we go.
All right, wait. Are we officially starting?
We're officially starting.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, boom, you. Who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
Okay, so my name is Silent K. That's what they call me. Sometimes people call me Int K because I like to int a little bit. I also go by Silver K. But yeah, but basically I'm a streamer. I've been streaming for about a little over a year. And I run a channel called The Dojo. I'm the custodian of the channel called The Dojo. I'm not the master of The Dojo. I'm the
link
custodian.
right below him.
Yeah, there we go. And basically I just run a channel that's really community oriented. Try and include people in like games and events and things like that. So that's really what the channel theme, The Dojo, is really themed around. It's more so community oriented, less like let's watch this guy be good at the game because I'm not very good. So yeah, and really that's it. I just I'm a people person. So that's why I got into the streaming aspect itself.
Okay. And then how did we wind up here? It's a pretty easy question.
Basically, so like, are we just starting with the full stream story?
You know, let's go. How about this? Let's go how we met. Actually, you want to start with that? That's kind of because it's like a weird loop, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start it off. Like, so one thing, like when streaming, that actually surprised me about the streaming community is I always had this idea, because I've been, like following a lot of streamers, watching streams for like 5+ years or whatever.
Hmm.
But it always surprised me to learn that the streaming community, as I got to, basically once you get past the initial, like, 0 to 10 viewers, and you start actually like collaborating and working with people, it's actually surprising to find out that the streaming community is a lot smaller than you would think it is, to the point where it's like now I can go into like anyone that has like anywhere from like 60 or under people, and I'll recognize like 3 or 4 of the people in the channel, every single channel. And it's just like, wow. So it's really small. So basically, based on that, I ended up running into a gentleman named NYC Thresh. Most of you guys know him. Phenomenal streamer. Shout out to NYC_Thresh.
Mods, shout out David. Shout out David Mods. Thank you.
He's a great streamer. He's one of the better streamers that is wanting to collaborate and work with. And so by hanging out with his channel, I got in contact with Kaylee's channel. And then that's where Rio comes in, because Rio and Kaylee. So I'll let you pick up there.
Yeah. So, which is funny because it actually all comes back to David. I'm looking over here because I'd rather look at my camera, or not camera, where you are on here. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
So it actually comes all back to David because apparently I met David. I had no idea. I met him in solo queue. So I was playing Yasuo ADC. He was on the enemy team, apparently. I lost the game, but won my lane super hard against him. And I'm like looking at my stream. I think this is back when he first started streaming. So like when he even had a small stream. And I vaguely remember him coming into my stream too. I just didn't know who the hell he was. And I'm like, as he comes in, he's like, "Oh man, GG's, like you played well." And the first thing I said, because I didn't see the chat at first, was, "Damn, that Thresh was dog shit. Can't believe I lost to that guy." And that was the first thing I said. And he's like, "Oh damn, okay, like yeah, no, I played bad. It's okay." And then I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh yeah, my bad, man. Like you played like all right, but like I shouldn't have lost that game." Blah blah blah. My top inted, complaining, blah blah blah. And then and then so fast forward, I think I randomly found. So if you guys know Devil Demoko, he raided me once. And this is actually what taught me, Devil Demoko taught me so much about streaming and raiding, so I'll get into that like later. But he basically raided me by finding me randomly on the drop-down page. And I went to his channel once, and I saw NYC Thresh there. He's like, "Oh shit, you networking with Rio?" And I'm like, "Who the hell is this guy? How does he know who I am?" I'm like, "Who the hell?" So I just started talking to him, and then I went to his stream, and he told me how we had originally met, because his stream was starting to pop off, and I was like, "Oh shit, we actually met before," and I vaguely remembered it. Fast forward again, I met Kaylee through David's stream also, and then I became close with Kaylee, and then I guess you had asked me we were going to do some collab a couple months ago, things happened, and then I just tuned into your stream, and I kind of liked the vibe of it, and I had actually heard from David himself. He's like, "Yo, you got to have a talk with Silent, like he's an awesome dude." And then we actually had our talk, and I'm like, all right, this is a great idea. And that's why I figured you'd probably be the best first guest I could have on Talks with Rio. Welcome, guys.
Talks with Rio. Real Talks with Rio.
Real Talks with Rio. Scuffed, because I can't even say the title correctly. So, and now we're here, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. But that's kind of the background of how I met Silent and how I guess he met me. Yeah. And it's such a small, like you said, it's such a small world of streamers, because I think, like, even Violet, if you're in the chat, like, Violet, for example, I met through your stream and your chat, and then I started talking to her on the side, and she's an awesome person, and then, like, someone randomly hosted me, and Violet comes in the chat and is like, "Yo, what's up?" And I'm like, "Violet, how the hell did you find my stream?" She's like, "Oh, I just got raided." I was like, "Oh my god." So it's even like the small Twitch community of small people that just, like, hang out in, like, these smaller channels, like, even the viewers, like, you'll see a lot of people just, like, kind of rotating around, you know? It's kind of really cool. It's really interesting to see, like, the dynamic of it, you know?
It's also I think a lot of it has to do with like the streamers themselves. Like the streamers, a lot of the smaller community streamers like us, you know, and when I say smaller, I consider pretty much anyone under like 50 kind of like a smaller community streamer.
Yeah.
There's only so many that actually work with other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like once you get in with those people that work with other people, it's like, oh, well, then you're rubbing shoulders with all the same people, because there's only so few of us. Because most people are like so guarded and like, oh, I can't raid people, I'll lose viewers.
I mean, like, I remember when it was like, oh no, I have 5 viewers, who should I raid? Oh no, this person has 15, I can't possibly raid them, they won't appreciate me. And you get like so intimidated by it. And then you realize at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, yes, if you have sometimes you want, like, depending on what your philosophy is, you want to raid smaller people, but like at the end of the day, it's just networking and like meeting new people, and like
Yeah.
it's opened up so. Okay, so like for me, I've been streaming for like a year and a quarter consistently. Shout out to Kurt, he just subbed for 13 months, first one there. Thank you, Kurt, love you.
Woo!
13
months, that's no joke.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he has a founder badge, so we can't see the cool little 1 year badge, which is kind of like I was hoping to see it. But anyway, so the one thing I did that I noticed, and this is something for anybody that's looking to get into streaming too, you could save so much fucking time. So what I did for like 8 months is I streamed a lot. There was about 1 or 2 months maybe I was like on and off with it because I was going through some stuff, but for the most part, pretty consistent. And then I actually just would play the game. So I was so focused on my gameplay, which is fine, I think, but I never got really past Diamond 4 until like later in the season of Season 9. I peaked D2 and like, okay, yay, I'm a little bit more higher elo, cool. And that's I don't regret it because that was what I was working on, but I never hosted anyone until the last 4 months. Not a single host, not a single raid, didn't care about connecting with people, didn't even realize that was a thing. Yeah, actually. And
trying to 1v9 streaming.
I literally tried to 1v9 streaming. Leave it to the Yasuo player, right? And then like it was honestly when I met David and Demoko, and they like just seeing like the instant connect, like Demoko's like one of my homies now, and just seeing that instant connection and like being like, wait, like, okay, I'm friends with him now. Not only that, our chats are bouncing back and forth between each other, they're interacting, and it's just a win-win all around. You know, it's like, why wouldn't you do this? Like when you meet people that it works out with and it just clicks, you know, like that was probably the biggest change that I noticed in the past 4 or 5 months of my stream. And my stream's definitely done a lot better in the past months. Just like I'm also in this tournament called Budget Rivals. If you guys want to check it out,
Tell us about that.
Command Budget Rivals. Yeah. So like I got into this also because my stream got bigger and I've actually been networking with people and just making friends. So Budget Rivals is a scuffed, low-key, small to medium tier streamer / content creator, because you could be a YouTube content creator. Tournament similar to Twitch Rivals, but in the form of Clash. And I'm sure it's gonna be. This is the first one, so it's honestly been very scuffed, but it's been fun because you have like 3 master tier players and then like a silver on a team, and then like mine is like diamond, grandmaster, gold, plat, silver. You know. So it's weird. It's like the draft was like completely randomized, but it was interesting. So without going into details of like why it's scuffed, it's like everybody I've met through it. Skarna, if you're here, love you. Like I've met so many awesome people through this mini Twitch Rivals thing that it's just like it keeps snowballing. The more you network, the more it just keeps adding up, and you just keep meeting people, and then like it's just so much more fun, enjoyable, and it's just better for your stream if you want it to go somewhere too, is what I've noticed. Like there's like no downside to it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I like, especially because it's like it gets to a point where in the beginning, like I understand like people trying to do things solo, but eventually you get to the point where you're trying to do so many things solo that you can't really fit more projects onto your schedule.
Yes.
And when you start networking with other people, well, they already have their projects going on and they just want to include you in it. And so that's like one of the reasons why I was like, when Rio was like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to do a podcast. Everyone's always telling me you need to be on a podcast. I'm like, yeah, but then I got to set that shit up and I got to like make all the connections. And then when Rio comes, he's like, you want to do a podcast? Like, hell yeah, I want to be a part of something awesome that I don't got to work for.
I just got to show up, drink some alcohol, and then just talk? All right, I'm in.
Yep. And it's like that's what happens when you start networking though, because then you find, you know, other people running tournaments or other people running contests and they want to maybe do a collab, and then it's like, cool, you get to collab with them and you get to benefit from their work, and then when they collab with you, they benefit from your work, and it's just all around just a much better like way to go about trying to grow, especially where we're at right now, Rio. You know, like this is where like you've made it, but you aren't like an actual big streamer yet. You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, it feels like the only way to get past this little hump up to that like 100 point, you know, whatever is you really got to start collabing with people.
Yeah. Collabing. Also, I think the important part is just collabing with people that you have like synergy with, where it's just like it's not forced, you know. Like one thing I'm trying to do on the show is like I talked to Silent beforehand just to make sure, you know, he wasn't fucking crazy. And
I am crazy.
And we had a great conversation off stream, so I'm like, okay, let's bring him on. It'll be fine. So like I think one of the biggest things in this too is like making sure it's just, you don't have to exert energy that like isn't isn't like free flowing, you know?
Yeah.
I also want to have an energy talk with you. I feel like I
mean like energy.
like high vibration energy, low vibration energy.
Ooh, okay.
Like I'm kind of into that shit. Hold on. So what did you? Damn it, I forgot. Okay, could you copy and paste? Ah, fuck. Never mind. It's scuffed. All right. What? I'll bring some things up. I have to scroll back in our chat, but that ruins my overlay, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Never mind. But yeah, that's kind of one thing I want to maybe talk about later: high vibration versus low vibration energy.
Well, see, it's funny. It's like when I asked you the question, when you said like I want to talk about like energy. When I asked you the question like, what do you mean you want to talk about energy? I'm not gonna lie, it was a loaded question. It was one of those questions where I was asking like, how much does this guy know about energy? Is he gonna say the right thing? You know, and it was like when we were talking about
like where it's like it's just like just like I missed it. I missed the layup.
Yeah. Well, no. You actually caught it perfectly because I was like, all right, if he's gonna be talking about energy, I want to know what kind of is he just gonna go with the good karma? It's like, okay,
karma.
So he's kind of low on the energy understanding spectrum, or is he gonna say something like high vibrational energy versus low vibrational?
All right,
like,
fuck it. Let's go into
cool.
it.
I know I can go in deep with this.
Let's go into this. I want to talk about this. Okay. So I'm just gonna give you a free ball idea of what I'm thinking, and then we'll just run with it. So what I've learned is, I guess this can even be tied in almost like, oh God, we're gonna go deep. Okay.
It's gonna go deep.
I can tie this into like religion a little bit. So I'm very weird with my religious background. Because I'm probably one of the only people in my family not to get confirmed. My family's all Catholic. I went to a Catholic high school. So like I've literally read the Bible more than anybody in my family, and I've probably went to more masses than my family. So I've done it all, and I see the really good benefits of religion. And there's obviously so many downsides to it. But what really woke me up was I read a book one time, and I highly recommend this to chat. I don't know if you ever heard of Eckhart Tolle.
No.
So he's an author. He writes awesome books. He's like this, and it could be Eckhart Tolle. It's basically that New Age shit where it's derives from Eastern philosophy and stuff. And I read a book called The Power of Now, and that book actually changed I won't say it changed my life. Like, oh my God, the sky opened up, like a fucking light just shined down on me, and I was like, holy shit, please God, just take me into your gates of heaven. Wasn't anything like that. But it was very eye-opening, and it changed my it changed my perspective of a lot of things. So the book talks about, and this is where I got the idea of high vibration and low vibration, where it talks about living in the moment, understanding that you are the watcher, you are not the thinker. So I don't know if you guys have had this experience, or you even use silent, like you have an idea or a thought pops in your head, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how did I think of that? And it's like, you just don't vibe with it. It's like, well, that's not you thinking that thought. Like, if you could control your thoughts, you could just sit here right now, and you could just stop thinking. Well, now you're not. You're thinking about, okay, I can't think. That's a thought.
No.
And random things will come into your head, if you sit here long enough.
Well, see, here's the thing. So to go on that front. So I've done a lot of meditation work.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can slip into a meditative stand.
So you're okay. That's fair for you.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Okay. To the point where you're like, if you were to say to stop thinking, you're gonna. Slip into thinking.
You probably could. Yeah. Okay, so maybe not silent because I was gonna actually tie this in with meditation. And that's how I don't do it as much as I should, but it's something that helped me a lot in college. Meditating. So, okay, silent, you're excused from this. But you understand if somebody doesn't understand meditation, or at least how to hone into that state, that it's hard to turn off your mind. And like I see people that have talked to me, and they're like they're just like, I can't, like, I think the biggest thing for me was I really realized it when like me and my ex broke up. Like I was like at one point I was like super depressed, and I'm okay with it now, so I can talk about this stuff. But just letting everyone know, this isn't a therapy session, nor are we doctors. That like I literally just sat there, and I was like I wasn't doing anything. I was depressed, and I just thought the thoughts, and I'm like, dude, okay, this isn't me. I'm like, this isn't what I do. This isn't what I think about. Like, this is not okay. And I wasn't okay with it. So that's when I got back into meditation, just going for runs, like all the stuff that you should be doing, but sometimes we don't. But that really taught me that you don't have to identify with the thoughts that you were thinking.
Yeah.
you have the choice of either being like, yes, this is me, or this is not me. That was just a thought of my brain. And there's I feel like there's something about healthy league player. I think there's something about consciousness involved with that, and we can dive into that. But so when I talk about high vibration versus low vibration energy, I think that we're always in a spiral upwards or we're in a spiral downwards. I think you cannot plateau for very long. I think stagnation eventually leads to downwards. You're going to hit a pinnacle point where you have to either start going back up and growing in whatever way that is for a person, or you will start to stagnate downwards again. And for me, I like to try to get my life in a way where I'm always using the momentum upwards of high vibration energy. I feel like life is about tempo, and it's all about keeping up that momentum of either one way or the other. Because if when you see your friends, and this will be my last thought, I'll leave it up to you. When you see your friends kind of hitting rock bottom, on their way down, you want to help them so badly. I learned this because my friends tried telling me not to get back with my ex, and I did 3 times, and eventually I just had to hit rock. I realized this, you have to hit rock bottom because you need something to bounce off of. If you're going that direction, the only thing you can do is be there for them. And if they hit rock bottom, okay, then you can help them. But they at one point have to hit a certain point where you have to bounce off, and it's up to that person. And I learned that through that whole fucking year and a half of chasing validation and all this bullshit. We can go into another conversation about all validation and shit, but that's my thoughts on high vibration versus low vibration in a surface level.
Yeah, well, I mean, to bounce off what you were saying is as you were saying it, it's really interesting to hear somebody that discovered these ideas by themselves without being necessarily influenced by outside sources, because I have a lot of the same ideas regarding especially the tempo aspect. And I've talked about this on stream, where I'll tell people what I've noticed throughout my life, right? Because I'm a little bit older than most people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think that maybe there's a little bit of wisdom there, but probably not.
That's
but
the
one
ego.
thing I've noticed throughout life is I've noticed, going along the line of the tempo, is if you pay really close attention, what you'll notice in your own personal life is that there'll be certain times where you feel it, where things are going well and stuff is just clicking. And it's those are the times that you need to really look for. And those are the times when you need to start experimenting, branching out, trying new things, trying new projects. And you'll notice that tempo just keeps carrying and carrying and carrying and building. But then eventually something's gonna crack. Something's gonna happen, and things are gonna start going bad. And I've always noticed that once that happens, it's well, then that's when it starts snowballing in the opposite direction of okay, well, now shit's not going very well now, and to me that really strikes me as where is your energy, where is your vibrational level at? Is it waning or is it growing, or is it waxing? And it's being able to recognize those two states. It's basically once you go into, because what I always look for is there's always some kind of catalyst that I noticed where something particularly bad. It don't even have to be somebody dies or something like that. It'll just be I tried this project and the project fails. And it's cool. So now I'm going to try this next project. That project's going to fail, but then you just keep trying until eventually one of those works. And it's okay, now I'm back on it. Now I can keep doing these things. And you just got to survive until you get through the slow tempo and then get back to the high tempo.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. It's actually so funny how you put these things, because immediately I can connect it to something that I'm yes, I immediate reference to something that happened in my life where I'm this is exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yep. And then it's because something happened, you can always, and it's even when you're looking at how your mind operates, if you're thinking about your memories, or if you're trying to build your storyline, right, about how your life has played out, you'll notice that what you do is you have pinpoints, you have major events where this is the event of that time period, and it sets the tone for that entire time period. And it's well, if you recognize that in your past, then you have to know that that's going on currently. And then it's well, what time period are you in now? And it's right now I'm in a good spot.
Yeah,
things are going good. But I could already tell that we're entering into a phase where things might not be going so good for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily saying it's universal.
Yes.
Right. But it does have a lot to do with the things going on around you. and like what you have in your particular universe. And so it's just I don't know. It's just nice to have that kind of awareness, because to me it makes me feel like I'm more prepared when shit starts going south. Like I know that, like, okay, shit's going south, but like
You've been here
it's
before.
gonna get better again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of going on
But
on the concept of like you want to be comfortable with being outside of your comfort zone too, kind of thing.
yeah. Faux real. Real. Like, and then in terms of like energy though, I really like how people describe it as like high vibrational energy versus low vibrational energy. And so, like, in talking about this from like a layman's perspective, the easiest way to do it is to attach it to emotions, right?
What's
And like with your
layman's?
emotions,
What does that mean exactly?
for instance, what do you mean?
The word you used, was that layman's?
Yeah, layman's terms, like most basic terms.
Oh, okay.
So like somebody that's being introduced to it.
Gotcha.
But like so from an introductory perspective of like talking about vibrational energy, the easiest way to do it is through emotions. And one thing that you'll notice is that certain emotions have different vibrational states, to where your basic emotion of being just comfortable, right? Your basic vibration is like it's pretty normal, and that's our everyday standpoint. But then when you get into like higher vibrational states, we're talking like happiness. And then we also have the highest one, which is, and this one's already been recorded as the highest one, which is love. And when you're in the vibrational state of love, or gratitude is also another really good one, your body actually goes into sync. It's the same thing when you're like, the runner's high, right?
Yes.
How like, yeah, you'll be running for like a certain period of time and you'll be fucking tired, and then suddenly out of nowhere you'll break into this state where your mind is clear, your body is a fluid machine, it's all operating together. And that would be a higher vibrational state, because your entire body is synced to your same vibrational pattern. And your vibrational pattern is usually decided upon by your heart. So it's based on your heart rate. Your heart rate, as the fucking major pump, it's the one thing causing constant vibration and feeding that vibration to the rest of your body. So when you're in like higher vibrational states, your heart is in a more active state, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like if you were talking about the lower vibrational states, you're talking like sadness, you're talking loneliness, you're talking boredom,
Apathy.
and apathy is probably one of the lowest
Yeah.
vibrational states you can be in. And oddly enough, anger is actually a high vibration.
I know. Okay. Yeah. So just to go with quick thought on that. So I understand everything you're saying, only because I actually read a book called The Levels of Energy. And like, I think there's a quick PDF, right? Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I think you can.
I can see it.
Okay. So real quick, like, this is like a basic overview of it, and there's more to this, but this is kind of like your levels of energy from like the lowest and what your behavior is into like the highest. And like you said, absolute passion, non-judgment, creation, like expression. Oh shit, hold on. It's not
Nah, it's cool.
there we go. Okay. Let me do this. I need an intern for this. Yes, big dick versus small dick energy. Yes. What's up, Raging Unicorn? But like it goes in. It's exactly like it starts with apathy, where you literally have no behavior, whereas like anger, like you just said, anger is like the second level that you can get to, and at least you're acting. Like there's motion, there's movement, like there's a purpose behind what you're doing. Like this is where defiance and like fucking revolts come out, and then like these are actually the levels that you have to go through, like usually when you go through a breakup, because you're going to be in apathy for a while. And like I actually think all my experience with this stuff comes from learning about dating. And so I lived in Miami for 5 years, but all my experience with like these levels of energy were kind of brought to light to me through my dating life, which was very interesting. But like
This will be the next podcast.
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
if you're curious.
Oh yeah, maybe even at the end of this one, we'll see. I always tend to bring it back. Like the way I can bring everything into like full circle is always like relating it back to like how I talk to women. Like kind of how you said, like you kind of just have to do things. Like I think, like going back on one of the things you had also said, like when you're like these defining moments in our lives that happen, or you're doing this. Like I actually believe that people look for defining moments in their life too much. I think people are waiting for something to get them going, when all you have to do is just go and do it, whatever that is, whether it be start your stream, or do anything. Like people are just waiting for the perfect setup to do things, and they're like, oh, I need this to happen to this. It's like, no, like just start doing it. Yeah, do the Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Literally, just do
it.
Just do it, and you'll start to learn about how like your process of creation or whatever you're doing goes about. But I'm kind of like a little bit of a, you don't need to search for these defining moments. I think you can, like I relate it back to women where it's like, oh, like I have to wait for the perfect opening. Like, how am I gonna walk up to her? Oh, she's talking to her friends right now. It's like, no, dude, just go say hi. Just go say hi. Have a conversation. She says no. You're like, okay, well, that didn't go well, but like now I'm less scared to talk for some reason. Okay, let's talk to the next one. Hey, how's it going? And you just say nothing, and she's just like, okay, this guy's fucking weird. Then you're like, wait, my brain said for some reason made me feel like I was gonna get killed if I talked to this hot chick, and now nothing's happening to me. I'm okay. Okay, well, let's get that momentum. Let's talk to the next one. And it's like, and it just keeps going, building. By 2 a.m., you're the life of the party. Everyone wants to be around you, And that's kind of like that's how I kind of learned like momentum and like levels of energy kind of thing.
And that's really something I've learned personally from personal experience too, is that it's a situation of, like you were saying, everyone's like waiting for the moment, right? They're like, oh, once the moment comes, that's when I'll become this great thing, or I'll do this great act. But what people don't understand, or at least like in most situations, it's like you are that. You can do that at any time, and all it takes is you just have to act. And so like it reminds me of something my dad used to tell me, right? And it was in a situation when my dad's got a lot of really good quotes. But one of the things he would always tell me is like, when everyone's asking for a volunteer and no one volunteers, that means it's you.
Yeah. I love that. Wait, I love that. I've actually felt that too before. It's like when nobody volunteers, you almost feel like, this is me. Like, I have to be the one to do this. And like the minute you hesitate, the other person's going to take it too.
Exactly.
Hesitation gets you killed.
I remember when I was working at Whole Foods, this was one of the things that people really like enjoyed about having me on their team, is that they knew that like if they didn't feel like doing it, then they knew that I understood that as default. It's me, And that's really what it comes down to in terms of like acting and creating the moment. Is it's like, well, if nobody is doing it, you just fucking do it, and it's really not that hard, Like just be that volunteer, be the one going out and doing the thing. I think just do it.
I think it also comes. Okay, so I'm interested to see what you think about this topic. So it also, I feel like that comes so that the mindset of like, okay, nobody volunteered at first because everyone's like, I don't want to be that guy. It's being in the safety of the crowd, being in the safety of the tribe, And I think it comes. I think we talked about this like off stream. It comes back to that like concept. At least I think this is my theory, my personal opinion. I am not a doctor. I don't know. This is fact. This is my opinion.
Dr. Rio,
please don't fucking clip this. Is it comes back to this tribe mentality of like, okay, humans come from a time period where we would quite actually get killed on a daily basis by leopards, elephants, what you name it, just like, and you had to go out hunting, and it's like, I might not come back from the hunt today, and it's these survival mechanisms that kept us alive. My theory is the reason you want to have the acceptance of everybody, and why do you care so maybe much about the negative comment on your YouTube video instead of maybe the 10 good comments, is because if you were kicked out of the tribe, you were killed. How do you get kicked out of the tribe? Well, people in the tribe don't like you. You're doing something that they don't like, especially if you go up against the females of the alpha male, and it goes into that kind of thing. If you do something, you will get kicked out of the tribe. If you get kicked out of the tribe, you are dead. And I feel like a lot of these things where we're trying to just stay in our comfort zone of like, don't do anything that you don't need to, comes from that sense of we need to stay alive, and your body used it as survival mechanisms back then. Whereas now in the world and society we live today, like that doesn't exist. Like, I feel like that also comes full circle again, like back to talking to women. Every dude, and you're lying if you haven't, you're absolutely lying if you haven't, even girls probably. You get nervous when you want to talk to like a really pretty girl that you think is above you. You put her on a pedestal maybe, and you're afraid to walk up to her. But that is like a survival mechanism of like, oh, you're okay in your environment now. Why would you do anything that would risk you getting kicked out? And it's like, once you go up to her and talk to her, well, maybe 10 billion years ago, the alpha male would kick you out and be like, yo, like, this is my girl, like, get out, and beat you up, and you're dead. now
My territory.
And I'm not saying that can't happen, because sometimes if they got a boyfriend who's huge and you start shit with him, you're gonna get kicked. But it's like, for the most part, just walk up to her, say hi, trick your brain. Oh my God, nothing bad happened. I'm okay. And you just power through that survival mechanism. And I feel like that's a lot of like, that could be translated to like a lot of like things in life. It's like, okay, I'm afraid to maybe be like that volunteer in this retreat. And that guy that got picked wound up having one of the greatest experiences of his life because he opened up or whatever. Like, those are the moments where you're most scared that I think you can grow the most or find the most peaceful / blissful experience on the other side. Like, the grass is greener on the other side, you know? And that's kind of my thought on it.
I 100% agree with that too, because it's like you were saying earlier, talking about how like everyone's had the experience of like being afraid of talking to, you know, the person that they consider more attractive or etc. But like after you do it, and honestly, it only takes about like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, like after you do it, and most people don't do that. Most people just like get stuck and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna make that jump. But once you do it, then it's like, then you realize like, why was I even afraid? Because like, yeah, it didn't work out that time, and like, yeah, maybe she even made me feel like a fucking idiot and like I'm fucking ugly and dumb. But at the same time, it's like, but you go on to the next person, and all you're finding out is that it's like, it's not even based on like how you approached it or like what's going on. It's literally like you're just meeting a new person, and sometimes they're cool and sometimes they're just fucking hella stuck up.
Yep.
You know, and you just have to roll with it. And it's like it's oftentimes not even really based on their attractiveness level. I mean, there's an aspect of that where, yes, typically more attractive people, there'll be a little more like, why is this fucking weirdo talking to me? But in general, it's like you find out it's like, nah, these are just regular people too. They just look woo.
They look good.
They just look good.
They just look good.
And so it's always interesting to me to like try and coach people through that, because there's a lot of situations where like a lot of my friends, basically one thing I'll say right now, guys, if you ever meet up with me in public, as you can tell, I'm a people person. I'll tell you right now, I'm one of the best fucking wingmen you could ever have.
Hit up Silent.
Because
you need that wingman.
Yeah, and really like in a real life situation too, when you're like, let's say you're at a bar or whatnot, you like having a wingman that knows what they're doing is fucking good. To where like you put me as your wingman, basically here's my strategy for wingman. If you guys want to know how to be a good wingman, right? I'm not telling you how to be the good alpha, because I don't play the alpha. Fuck that shit. But if you're looking for like how to be a good wingman, or you're looking for a good wingman, here's what you need. You need somebody that goes in and breaks the ice, and then that person plays the buffoon or idiot, but keeps things moving. And that's a wingman, right? To where basically what I'll do with my homies is I'll go in, you know, and like I'll start the conversation like, hey, how you doing? What you doing? What you up to? And like, oh, you know, we're just drinking. And they'll be looking at me like I'm a big fucking weirdo, because I'm the weirdo that comes in and is like trying to like, you know, they think I'm trying to move in on them. But then I'll be like, and then my friend will come over and I'll be like, oh, hey, this is my buddy, blah, blah, blah. And then what you do is you immediately move it from talking about yourself to talking about that person, the person that you're trying to talk to. Mm-hmm. And then you have your friend chime in and make a connection with that person. And then anytime it slows down, you just keep it going. And at the same time, you always want to make it to where you are dumber and less attractive than your friend that you brought in. You know, so sometimes you want to say something stupid, and then your friend will be like, you're an idiot. And you'll be like, come on, man, I'm not that dumb. He'll be like, no, that was pretty dumb. And then she'll be like, yeah, that was kind of dumb.
And that's what you're looking for, that point right there where it's like, okay, we're good. Like, all right, now it's up to you, man. Now it's up to you. Yeah. I've done my job.
Exactly. Now you two have connected. Now I'm just going to like, oh, I guess I'm dumb. I'm going to slip on.
I'm just going to talk to the friend that you don't want to talk to. Mm-hmm. That's actually, okay. That's very accurate what he just said. And like it goes like, I'm sure, okay, so we could probably have another okay, so next podcast we're going to talk about maybe technicalities, because obviously, okay, I talk about like there's techniques, technicalities, but at the end of the day, like if you don't feel good on the inside, you're never going to get to these parts where it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. I understand where this is moving because I've done this so much. Like I can set this up. But if you approach and it's just, hey, how's it going? My name's Mark, like, and it's like, okay, I sense this low vibration, bringing it back to energy, I sense low vibration, okay, and I think women are fucking phenomenal at this. I think guys think too fucking logically, and a book taught me this. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Great book if you want to fucking go read that shit. Fucking almost. It probably kept me in my relationship longer than I should have been, but it helped me understand women a little much better than I did before. And it's essentially just says like, you can't treat women and men the same. Like, in this, and I'm not talking about like equality and rights and all this shit and getting to feminism. I'm talking like, women are biologically different from men, and we as men are just different from them. I think women have such a gift of being able to sense internal energy, like kind of like women's intuition. Yeah. I think women can sense energy so much more like better and like just feel what's going on in their body. Maybe not understand it, but they are definitely more in tune with it. To the point where we think of things like logically, whereas they're like trying to make decisions maybe based more on like their emotion. And not saying they make emotional decisions, they just understand the energy of the room a little bit more. I think they pick up on it. And so like, I think they can screen people very quickly. Any girl is used to getting hit on a lot. I think women are very good at when that guy comes up to them and they're like, hi, my name is like, they like, okay, like you can tell this guy's in low vibration energy. He's in his head. He's not free flowing. He's just not like about like, he's not that expansive energy that just wants to create, you know what we were talking about, where it's that energy that you want to be at. Like love is the highest tier of energy because it's all about, my cup overflows and I just want to give. And I want to share. And I want to share it with you. That's what people are looking for. So if your cup is not overflowing, you got to fix that shit. That's where you want to be in life, is where you have so much, whatever it is. You don't even, I mean, like, I've seen people that are like incredibly financially not well off have this kind of energy. And I've seen people that are incredibly financially wealthy and have low vibration energy. So it's not even about like success and money. It's just about what you're doing on the inside. And you need to have, and then, like, as we were talking about with women, like, you got to have that expansive energy to kind of, like, be like, okay, so who's this guy? But I think it also comes down to, you could bring that into any aspect of life. That expansive energy, like streaming. Okay, like, people that don't, like, I've seen this, I'm not going to name names, but I know this one streamer. He's about mid-tier, 30 to 50 views pretty regularly. He's been
talk shit about me, guys.
He's always there. He's there all the time. Like, for the past 2 years, has not gone up, maybe goes down, but then maybe goes up some days, but it's always averaged around there. And it's because you can just tell, like, he's always in this weird vibrational state that just is like, it's not expansive. I think I'm not saying he'll never make it, because he could probably make it with this energy, but it's a lot easier if he was in a higher vibration energy where it's expansive and creative and he reached out to more people, because he doesn't reach out to anyone. He's just doing his own thing, which is fine. That's okay. But in the way that he is doing it, I've noticed that it's one, I don't think it's going to work forever. And it's not in a productive manner, because it's like he's not even having chat interaction. Like, he's just trying to do his thing. And it's like you get into the technicalities of it, but I think the root of it comes from like, it's just, he's in a weird vibrational state of energy for a very long time. And that's the crazy thing about this shit, is like, you can be stuck in a tier of energy for God knows how long. Like, when it comes to breakups,
you can literally get stuck in it so long that you identify it as who you are.
Yeah, and that's when it gets scary, because you see like people that come out of like a marriage or like a really bad breakup, and they'll stay like, so they're in apathy, then they'll move to anger eventually, and they stay in anger. They're always fucking mad at their ex. And like, I take this, like, people think I'm mad at my ex. Like, I have no hard feelings towards her. If anything, that's probably the best thing that could have happened in my life, looking back, like us breaking up, because we should have never stayed together. We just had amazing chemistry, you know, in private.
I was gonna say, okay, careful.
careful. And with like, when it comes to that shit, it's like, hold on, let me grab the thought again. When it comes to that, it's like, fuck, remind me. My mother just walked in.
You're talking about like being stuck in an emotional state.
Okay, so people get stuck in anger. And one thing I realized is that I did not want to get stuck in anger. I feel like you can screen people very well about like how they are in relationships depending on how they talk about their ex. And I'm not saying that is a good or bad thing. I'm just saying if someone stays in a state of like where they're like, hey, I'm forever mad at my ex because she ruined my life, maybe she did, rightly so. Maybe she did, or maybe he did. But you're taking a victim mentality that you will never get out of if you allow it to consume you. And it's okay to be there for some time, but eventually you have to move on to forgiveness, you know, in that sense where you're able to forgive, like, and to forgive something, you have to be angry at a person for doing it. So you can't even skip these levels. You have to go through them. So you have to be sad about this shit. You have to be angry at them at some point, and then you have to get to, okay, forgiving. And then that's not even saying, like, you still shouldn't reach out to them at the point where you forgive them. You forgive them, but more importantly, you forgive yourself. You start looking at, well, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? For me, I realized, okay, she did tons of fucked up shit to me that I should never have put up with. But holy shit, I can totally see these points that, like, yeah, this is where I fucked up. Like, I could have done better here. Like, why am I doing this? This is not what I should have done. You know, like, this is not who I want to be as a person. And then you move on to, I forget what the next stage is. Hold on, I think I have the PDF still up. What's the next stage? Compassion, concern, peace. Okay, yeah, acceptance. Acceptance is the next big one. So acceptance is when you just accept it. You accept it for what it is, and you can finally move past it. You might have forgiven them, but then you have to move into acceptance. And I think people stay in anger just way too long, or the rest of their lives, and that's what really destroys their life, is when they stay in that anger phase.
Those are the two traps.
Yeah,
the sadness, the apathy, and the anger are like the traps that everyone gets caught in.
And you have to go through like, it. But you can't get stuck there.
And even one thing that I think is really interesting about talking about like going through how people go through these states is like when you're trying to help people or when you're trying to interact with other people too, it's really interesting to keep these states in mind. Like say something happens to somebody and you ask them like, oh, well, you know, like how are you feeling? Like what's going on? They'll give you a response. And usually the response will be whatever emotional state that they're in, right? And it's like, well, if they tell you what emotional state that they're in, then you know how to help them. And the way in which you help them is you push them towards the next emotional state, the one that logically follows. To where like most people that like something sad happens to them, right? I understand that like anger is not a good state to be in. Anger is not a good state to be in. But if you're trying to get out of sadness, I'm gonna bump you a little into the
you're just gonna take that shit, man. Yeah. Like you gotta rile it in them.
Exactly. And then once they get into that angry state of like, oh, you know, I'm fucking angry and blah blah, and then it's like, well, then you bump them into that next step, like, well, yeah, you know, like you're rightly angry, but like it's done in the past, you know, like you got to move on. So maybe you should, you know, forgive this person. Maybe you should get over it, you know. Yeah. And then it's like once they forgive them, then it's like, and then they're in another situation. It's like, remember that time you were in that situation? Well, maybe you should have compassion for this person because now you understand. And it's like, once you understand these emotional states and how they blend into each other, you get a really good sense of how to help people. And so like, in that sense, like what I would say is like to break it down, like in a really simple way to say it is like, if somebody is in an apathetic situation, bring them either into anger or sadness. If they are in anger or sadness, bring them into forgiveness. If they are in either forgiveness, like then you bring them into compassion. Once you bring them into compassion, then you bring them into thankfulness. And then once you bring them into thankfulness, then you bring them into love. And if you can get people to love, if you can make people love, then they share that, and it just fucking spreads. And it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was actually a perfect way to put it. Well, we have some things in the chat. I feel like there's a good time to read chat. Okay, so Riri. Hi, Riri. How's it going? So kind of got to realize that people act differently because of different reasons. And if you don't agree with it, it still is what it is. These kinds of talks are important. Nice seeing that you talk about this stuff for you. Okay, so I'm assuming you somewhat agree with us, and I see where you're going at this point. It's kind of like you understand the state that they're in. Like, it's about, like, yeah, to be understood, you need to understand first. You know, and it's like that, like you said, the greatest point is you have to figure out what state they're in to figure out how you can help them. And it's about understanding where they're coming from. You're just not, you don't judge, like, and I feel like that comes from, you're in the high vibration energy of unjudgmental, because you understand what they're going through, and you have some energy, like you have high energy to share. Like, I actually believe, like, if you can put yourself around that, like, you can force yourself out of it by just changing your influences. So let's say you're in a bad like you're a kid in a bad household and your parents have like a terrible marriage and like there's just negativity going on everywhere. I feel like one of the only ways to get out of that is like literally throw on earphones, throw on a fucking podcast like Gary Vee, throw on Joe Rogan, just something to get you out of it, and something that is constantly pumping that energy into you, because after a long span of period of time, it's just going to be that, and that's what you will emulate, you know. And that's why people are so concerned with their environments, and because you have some type of barrier to it when you're like, you know, like it's like, okay, I see a bad person on the street, like, oh no, their vibration, their bad energy, I can feel it, it's taking over, you know. It's like, it's not like that. God. But if you become friends with that person and they stay there for extended periods of time, and then you hang out with them, like, they'll either pick up what you're doing, or 2, you'll pick up what they're doing, or you'll just meet in the middle, which brings you down and it brings them up. But you gotta watch where you are because you don't want to go too far down.
Yeah.
So hold on, read a little bit more comments and then I'll finish that thought. Because I also want to bring it back to something that you said that I think I have a good question for you. Whenever my friend is sad about her ex, I would just tell her to remind her how much shit you did her. Definitely helped her move into anger. Yeah, exactly. Like you got like that. That's perfect. Jose TV. Like you have to move them into that anger phase. Like what I realized in my breakup, for example, is like I would be mad at her for 1 day or 2 days, and then I'd be like, okay, I forgive her. And it's like, no, you can't just move that quickly through the states. Like I didn't ever get mad at her. I thought I did. And I did maybe a little bit, but you can't just like, you gotta like stay mad for a little bit, you know, like and distance yourself and then do things. And then like I'd go through this phase of like, I'd go like a week where it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm done with it. And then I'd be like, no, I forgive her. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a better person and I know how to fix this now. Like that's not how it works either. Like you can't be like, oh, I went through the tears of energy. I see the fucking pathway. No, that shit's bad for you. Just move on, dude. Like that's still the end of like that's end of discussion. Move on.
No, wait. On this point, though, I do want to say this. So this comes from a meditation background.
Oh, I love this.
But I feel like once you've achieved the point where you can just stay in a usual, because it's like impossible. It like literally, unless you're a fucking Buddha, or like
yeah.
or like
Jesus
you've
Christ
achieved enlightenment.
Yeah,
you're not gonna stay in a state of love and compassion, but after you practice it more and more, it does become there is a point where you can kind of like
tap into it a little bit more.
Like in general though, yeah, you do have to go through the standard states, but like and not to like, I always hate talking about myself because it always makes me feel like I'm like a really big douchebag. Yeah, well, I don't have to fucking do, but
I have reached enlightenment. I can come here anytime.
Yeah, but in reality, it's like for instance, like if a breakup or something happens to me, I can instantly put myself into a state of understanding, forgiveness, compassion, love. But it's only because I've done it so many times, you know, and like gone through the different phases so many times, to where it's like now it's like being in a state of anger or apathy is a state that I just never get into unless I smoke marijuana, which is why I don't smoke marijuana that often.
Don't smoke marijuana. Disclaimer: he is not also smoking marijuana on stream, guys. That is a disclaimer.
It is tobacco.
It is tobacco, and I have my vape. This is tobacco. This is not tobacco. It's nicotine. Also, still bad for you, but we do it. So don't do as we say, not as we do. Okay.
Yeah. I say do as we say, and here's what I say. You do you.
Yeah. Okay, that's better. That's better.
And then you can do as we do too, because that's what I do. But yeah, like your voice. Oh, dude, Godshark's in love with your voice, Rio.
Dude, it's because I got this mic. I like this mic.
Well, no, it's also your voice, man.
Oh, thank you.
Like when we were like preparing for the show, and he's like, I hope you have a good voice. I was thinking to myself like, oh, you're in for a treat. You about to hear it. This is one of the reasons why Rio's a good streamer. He's got that fucking. Like some people have that voice to where it kind of it makes you feel comfortable, but at the same time you're slowly being seduced. That's the kind of voice you got.
Oh boy. Oh Jesus. See, I actually used to be self-conscious about my voice. I used to think I have such a so my roommate would because I would stream in college, and he would have this vent right next to like my streaming room, so he could hear me all the time. And even when we're having pre-games, because it was like near the living room when we pre-game, he's like, and maybe he was studying, he's like, Mark, I can hear your voice through every single person's voice in that room, and you're the only one I'm like distinctively hearing. And like I always thought it was a bad thing. I'm like, is my voice like it's just so like ear piercing? I don't know. So I used to be actually like a little subconscious about it.
No, it's definitely one of those things where it's the voice that stands out, which is one thing that always makes me like curious. Because like so like personally, like I don't know if you do this, Rio, but I would highly suggest this. Okay. Do you watch your own VODs?
All the time.
Yeah. Okay. And so I'll be watching my VODs, right? And you know, I can see sparks of like, oh yeah, I can see why people, you know, watch. Like, yeah, you know, sometimes funny, sometimes I'm not basically I'm not superb at anything, right?
Okay.
But like I've got a few things.
You show hints of greatness.
Yeah, but one of the things that always gets me is like, how do fucking people put up with my voice? like I'm sorry, but But like if we were to have a voice off, Rio, and blind test, choose the better voice, you're gonna win 10 out of 10 votes.
Chat. What do we think? This is basically a voice off. You liking this, or you liking that?
I mean, I'm just gonna talk normal. I'm gonna bring it real.
I'm listening.
He's giving you fake voice. He's giving you sultry radio voice. I can do sultry. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Oh, I love that.
We just chilling here, just chilling here.
ASMR, let's go. Yeah, we just turned
Real Talks with Rio.
Real Talks with Rio. This is the ASMR part where we just speak deeply into our chat. If you donate 10 subs, I will say whatever you want me to. In Guidelines with TOS.
ASMR.
In ASMR. Don't do that, chat, please. I feel bad. Okay, we went on. That was a fun little tangent.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just catch up with the chat here.
So after you catch up with chat, you said you had a question for me though.
Right. Okay.
I like his hair too.
Okay. So
I feel like, wait, hold on. Before we get into this, I feel like one of the things that I've got right is I don't got the voice, but it happens all the time where people come in, they're like, "Hey, your hair is fucking cool." Like, yep. The fucking hair is the
okay.
draw.
Your hair,
That's what gets people
your hair
in.
grew back so fucking fast.
Yeah.
This man just got a haircut. Like what? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Mine's not doing that. That's amazing. This is like 2 months in the works, but this is also poofy and it's very thick. We just have different hair, but I know. But like, I was like, I couldn't believe how like quickly your hair grew back. Okay. So the question I was gonna ask you, yes. Okay. So you know how you said like when you say hello to someone, it's like, how are you, right? And then you went on that.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you. What do you think you're actually asking that person when you ask them, how are you?
Well, okay. So once again, this is why I don't like to talk about myself. But like,
oh, no, okay, no. This might be going in the direction I think.
But no, like so I'm gonna break it down in two ways. So I'm gonna say when I say hello and how are you, what I am actually asking is how are they? Like I am looking for an entrance to talk about them.
Okay.
And that's really what I mean when I say hello, how are you? I'm looking for an entrance to not just like, hey, I know all these ideas and I want to share all this shit with you and like blah blah blah, and I want to be like, what's going on with you? I want to hear more about that. I want to hear more about that opinion. I want to hear more about that perspective. I want to hear more about your world. And so that's when I go up to somebody and say hello to them, that's what I mean. And in most situations, what I've noticed is that people can really sense that. People can really sense that if you're going up to somebody and you are asking how are they, then if you're genuine, they realize that you are actually interested in hearing about what they want to say. And so they are much more open to telling you about whatever it is that they want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
But I will say in most situations, when somebody says a hello, how are you? It's literally just to break the awkwardness of like two people just standing in front of each other.
They're going through the motions.
Yeah, and it's like, and when you see a situation or when you're in a situation when somebody says hello to you, but you realize they're just going through the motions, then you don't fucking care either, and then you just go through the motions, and then it just makes it to where there's no connection at all.
Yeah,
there's no like one side or the other has to be actually invested in it. And in most cases, what I've noticed is that like for instance, a lot of people tell me like Silent, how are you so friendly and how are you so open and like how are you so able to talk to people? I'll tell you right now, guys. Here's the fucking secret. Write this down. This is the fucking secret.
Get the notepad out.
This works in friendships. This works in relationships. This works in streaming. But the thing is you have to be genuine. You cannot fake this. If you fake this, then you're a fucking weirdo, and then people fucking hate you when they find out that you're fucking fake. But if you can learn to do it authentically, all you have to do to make friends, to get that girl, to fucking get that promotion, whatever, be interested in the other person. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Ask them questions. Like for instance, when somebody's at the initial level of, I don't know how to talk to girls, I'll tell them, all right, here is the first thing that you need to do. Go talk to them. Start off talking. Talk about them. That's it. Don't talk about yourself. Ask them
until they ask. Do not bring up yourself. Just and it can be you don't, and don't go in with the mindset of like, Actually, I don't want to bring this off topic of like but using that example, but yes, exactly. Just like be interested in whatever they're doing. And you can also read a great book on that. It's Daniel Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence Others. And literally one of the greatest tips in that book just right out says just be interested in what they're interested in. Understand what their niche is. Okay. Oh, I don't really want to talk. Like, okay, so if you're talking to me and you meet me at a club and for some reason you just want to be my friend, I don't know why the fuck you would want to be my friend. But and you're like, yeah, what's up, man? And it's like, and you see me say like, oh, it's like, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, I kind of like, do this streaming thing on Twitch. It's whatever. That is a cue for, let me dive into this. This guy wants to talk about it, but he's afraid about being judged for it. So if somebody actually just fucking didn't know anything about Twitch, but they wanted to know about it, I would have an amazing conversation with that person, come out of it like, I like that guy.
Yep.
And that was it. I don't know anything about him, but he was interested in what I had to say, no matter what it would have been. And he was like actually genuine about it. And I've actually like had a conversation like that before. And the person was like, wow, that's super awesome, man. And like, it's not even just being genuine and honest. It's listening. It's actually listening to what they're saying, asking the right questions, not just like, okay, let me just like go through the motions of like, oh, so that's what you're into? Oh, that's cool. Like, what about this? What about that? It's like, no, it's like, oh, wow, okay.
It's not just listening. It's not just waiting for your turn to talk. I don't know where I heard that term, but that is actually how most people enter a conversation. Is they just have something they want to say, and then it's like somebody else's turn to talk, and they're just like, yeah, okay, get through your thing.
Holy
okay, no, back to what I was trying to say.
Yes, and that's like why I love the format of how I want to do this podcast, especially with you, because we're so on the same page with that. It's like there's been many times I wanted to talk about something that you had just like hit a point, but then you connected it to another point that was even like great, and I'm like, I sensed myself being like, okay, no, remember what you wanted to talk about, and it's like, wait, no, just like. Just listen and see where it goes and go with the flow. Like, don't break the flow of the energy. Just dude, Bruce Lee, be like water. Be fluid. Like just fucking be able to fit into anything and just keep fucking going. Don't be rigid, because if you're rigid, you're going to get stuck in life. Oh my God. We're going to go into philosophy and shit one day, man. There's so many things. Okay, all right. Yeah. Episode 2 is going to be fucking, or part 2 with Silent, whenever that is going to be amazing. We're just going surface level here. But so, okay.
But like, Wait, I want to touch on one thing. Like, so here's another piece. Like, I really like to give advice because oftentimes I don't really like I'm always interested in what's going on with other people. You know what I mean? To where like I don't want to ever push stuff. But now this is an opportunity.
That's kind of why I made the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of like listening though, and I know you're gonna identify with this, Rio. One thing that you can tell if you're actually listening is there's this thing called active listening. And when you're listening to somebody, you have to notice whether or not you're thinking your own thoughts or you are thinking their thoughts, right? To where when Rio is talking, I am literally repeating everything he is saying in my head because I am actively listening. And it's blocking out all my other thoughts. But then occasionally some thought will be like, oh, he said that, you should talk about this. And it's like, that's how you know the difference between whether or not you're actually listening or you're just listening and waiting for your opportunity to talk.
Yes.
I wasn't listening.
Got it. I love Twitch chats sometimes, man. But yes, no, that is perfect way to put it. Yes, exactly. And I guess that's like the fun part of life is like, it's not mastery of something. It's the overall arcing concept of always working to strive for the perfection that will never be reached. Of like, and I know that's very broad, but like in this sense, it's like I've officially become Buddha and I can actively listen to you and anything you say and none of my thoughts will pop into this conversation. Like, no, any human being, we're humans. I think that's the most beautiful thing about humans is that we will always be imperfect, but that's like in a sense that's the beautiful part that makes us almost perfect.
Yes.
And like I know that's hard to go into because it's just like that's like a beautiful statement. Thank you. And it's like I know you agree with me, so we probably won't have to talk about it too much. But it kind of leads into that, you know. Okay, so this is the only time I'm gonna bring it back to a point that I wanted to bring up before because I want to hear your thoughts on this. So back to the how are you, since that's how we started this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. So, and a lot of these things that I've learned. I know you said like, wow, it's interesting to see somebody who's like learned things on their own. It's like, I've learned this through experiencing it and also a lot of mentors. And when I mean by mentors, it could be a figure in your life a YouTube channel. A lot of this I've just like when I go on my YouTube grinds, I used to be big in self-development. That's kind of how I learned about like interacting with women is working on yourself. It's not about the pickup line you use. It's literally like being the man that you want to be, for example, blah, blah, blah. But and I learned this is the question that they like asked me, and it actually blew my mind. And I think it was because of the state of energy I was in, and it really helped me accelerate, was when they said, okay, so when you're asking somebody, how are you? Would you say it's also a self-check on yourself of how are you? Because it kind of goes in that point of you said genuine listening. Well, when you ask somebody, how are you? And it's just a random, like, going through the motions. You know when it's genuine or not. It's like, oh, how are you? You know, but, like, when you're in that good state of how are you, you want to know how they're doing because it's like, how are you? And you feel it in your body. Like, you almost ask it to yourself where it's like, you're doing very well. How are you doing? That's why you ask the genuine question because you're already, you know for yourself, I'm checking myself. I'm doing great. How are you doing? And then they feel that and they're like, well, okay, this is going on. You're like, okay, well, let's talk about it. You know?
I will say that is kind of an epiphany moment, you saying that, because like looking back in situations where I genuinely ask how others are doing, it is when the only time that I'm actually like genuinely asking is when I am in an okay spot, you know, to where like if I'm thinking about when I am depressed or when I am upset, then in most cases, I'm not even going to be asking you how you are.
Yeah.
I'm too invested in how I am, which sucks at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even if I do ask somebody how they are, and I am actually genuinely interested in it, it's only as an escape from like what low state I'm in. Whereas like in a normal situation, like if I'm in a happy state and if I'm in a good spot, then yes, I am genuinely curious about how somebody else is doing, not as an escape, not as like I want a platform to talk about myself, but as a like I am genuinely interested in talking to somebody else. So that makes a lot of sense that it's like it's a self check when you ask how someone else is. But even still, like being in a pretty consistent state of like, I don't know, kind of at peace. That's one thing I like. A lot of people don't really notice about me is that I'm just comfortable with who I am, with things that are going on in my life, with things that are going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
And that really comes from, we're not going to touch on that, but that really comes from having a near death experience.
Maybe future episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well.
Oh, you're
is
having
it okay if I do a little self plug right here?
Plug right now. I know what you're bringing up. Yes, go for it.
All right. So this Friday,
this
I will be telling the story of my most vivid near-death experience. This Friday, if you're interested in that, it's a very, very spiritual thing. But this is one of the things that gives me my confidence and level of peace. But to go back to like talking about, you know, like when you're at a state of peace, or you're okay with yourself, then you can really actually be invested in the question of, hey, how are you doing? And I see that it's just really weird to think about it, because that's just the normal state that I'm in. So that the whole idea of like it's a self check, to me it's not really a self check, because I already know where I'm at.
Yeah, you know where
like,
you're
that's
at.
why I'm
Yeah.
asking.
But it almost comes from so much of the life experience that you've gone through, and like when you say like I can kind of go through these energy levels pretty quickly or immediately jump to this one. You had to at least one time in your life go through the other ones and learn about them.
Oh yeah.
And then because of the state of meditation, then that you've learned, oh God, I want to talk to you about meditation after this once we're done with this point, because I'm interested and I've only dabbled, and you can get to that point because of all like the we'll call it training that you've done, the life experience that you've gone through, you know? Okay, so now let's talk about meditation.
Let's talk about meditation.
Okay.
This is actually, so let me give you a little backstory. So there's a period in my life, let's see, approximately 8 years ago. It was like right after getting out of prison. Maybe it was like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like 10 or like 12 years ago. It's approximately after getting out of prison, to where I started reevaluating my life and really noticing that like I was not a very good person. And I'm not saying in the sense of like I used to beat up cats or like steal candy from children or shit. But like I just wasn't a bad person, or I wasn't a good person. But then I started getting really deep into meditation and reevaluating the life, so that I actually spent a really good amount of time just meditating, to the point where I would meditate for hours and hours and days on end, to where I got really comfortable with meditation and whatnot. So it's actually a subject that I really, really, really like talking about. Oh, chicken lives matter. Don't bring that up, Apache. Don't bring up CLM.
Chicken lives matter. Oh boy.
Don't ask about that. Don't worry about that. That's a little inside the dojo.
That's a
joke
dojo
right
joke. Okay. So if you want to check out the dojo, by the way, twitch.tv/SilentK over here, but it's 2 eyes because Silent was taken, correct?
Yep, because
So-
Silent was taken,
Okay, so that's
and
it.
the guy that has the name won't let me fucking buy it from
It's
him.
fine. So if you want to go check out Silent, that is his link over there, and you'll know the dojo inside jokes. But okay, go on.
Yeah, but like so in terms of meditation, I'm not gonna say that like I'm a meditation master, although I will say that like I do know a lot about it, and like in terms of like all different forms of meditation and things like that. So what do you mean by let's talk about meditation?
So I guess I'll tell you like what I know about it, and then maybe you
Yep.
can pick something off of that and go with it. So there's a lot I know I could learn about it, and I know. So okay, so I got into it because of my breakup, because I was in such a state of apathy and despair that I just couldn't take it anymore, and I actually I got to the point where like I told you before, I was in my room and I just was in such almost physical pain for no reason, and I'm like at this point all my roommates had moved out. It's in the summertime, and I'm like, why the fuck do I feel like this? Like, I mean, I'll say it. Like, I think this is okay for 2S. To the point where my mind thought, like, I don't want to be alive right now. And I said to myself, I'm like, whoa. Cut the tape. What did you just say, motherfucker? And I just realized, like, this isn't me. Like, I used to be the happiest fucking guy. Like, nobody could, like, I could get down sometimes. Everybody gets down. But, like, overall, like, I think my vibration energy is and maybe not vibration energy, but I am more of a happy person all the time. I can see the bright side of things. I'm an optimist. And I was just like, this isn't me. This isn't what I stand for. These are not my principles. The things I'm thinking are not me. And I had it. And I knew what I had to do. And it was, okay, you go to the gym. Start running. So I literally just went on a run. I just ran. And I ran like 2 miles. And I don't run at this point. I'm fucking exhausted. And I just didn't care. I was like, I think I had shin splints afterwards. I walked home. Fucking, I hate I'm like in pain, but I'm like, at least I feel something, though. I feel physically something. And then I took it to the next level, and I was like, okay, I know meditation. I've had people bring it up in my life. My mom has a fucking shaman that she talks to in Australia that I always thought was fucking voodoo shit. And like he's literally called a shaman. And he actually, when I talk to my mother now about it, it's like a lot of the concepts that I do believe in now, and I learned on my own through books and things. And one of them was meditation. And I just sat in my room, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to just try to, like, not think about anything. And, like, okay, so it's like you do the deep breathing. Sometimes you find a nice little meditation soundtrack where it makes it a little bit easier if you want. Or you find, like, a guided meditation where someone just guides you through it. So I did one of those, and it's just one of the ones I did was, okay, just focus on your breathing. So you just sit down, you know.
Oh, shit. Biddies. Sorry.
Oh shit, we did get biddies. Okay.
Sorry. I didn't mean
guys.
to interrupt. I
No,
just
you
saw
got-
biddies.
I don't have notifications on. I apologize, guys, but thank you for I don't know how many bits that is. 41 bits. Thank you.
That's a lot of bits.
And also thank you guys for the follows. I see them all. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. And so I just started meditating, and I couldn't not think. I couldn't do it. For the life of me, I was just like, thoughts just kept popping in, and I'm like, okay. Then I looked up another one. Okay, so let's try this. Instead of trying to focus on your breathing every time you think of something else, just think about as whatever comes to your mind, think about it. And that actually worked for first. It was like, okay, the more you concentrate on the noise, the more it went away. It's almost as if like every time your consciousness comes into contact with your unconscious self, the unconscious self runs away. You know, even if it's for a split second. Like, it was trying to do whatever you wanted, the opposite of whatever you wanted to do. As if it was like a demon inside of, okay, I'm not going to say demon, the bad side inside of you.
No,
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to term it.
Yeah.
In most situations, like real talk. But yeah, keep going.
And then it was like, so it's like I'm trying to run away from this demon. That's who's trying to do everything, do everything bad for me. So let me go at him. And he actually started running away. And I learned that way. And then I got better. Like, my energy level was rising again. I just started getting off my ass doing stuff. I got into streaming was one of the few things I had that like really got me my mind off of things. And when I was done with streaming, I would just do that. And then there was a period at school where I was so fortunate to go to the University of Miami. Fucking love that school for multiple reasons, but it's also such a beautiful campus. And I found a meditation group with it on school, and I just said, fuck it, let me join it. And I joined it, and we did some exercises, and it actually really helped, and I was like really interested in it. And then I would just go, I had this app. What was that app called? I deleted it, or I got a new phone. Actually, my phone's like, here, chat. This is my phone. Shit's broken as fuck. Actually, the home button broke today, so I can't actually open it. I think I still have it, but essentially, Headspace. My British cousin actually did an article on it and helped develop it. So like, I did Headspace, and I would just go by the lake at my campus. Beautiful fucking lake. Like the water is actually somewhat clear. You have like a nice view of the entire campus. The sunset's perfect on it. Like if you want, the campus bar is right there. Like absolutely like stunning view. And I would just go there every day for like when I had 15 minutes between class. I would just sit there and just meditate. And yes, there's noises going on, but I would just focus on the noises. If people were chatting, I'd focus on the chatting. And that's all I would do, just to like feel the sense of peace that I otherwise wouldn't. And that taught me I stopped meditating, unfortunately, so I'm not as good at it these days. But it taught me that if I get into a certain mindset or state, that I'm able to now come out of it by kind of just like focusing myself, calming down, and looking for that centeredness, you know? And that's as much as I got into it. I'm like not like super. Oh, and like I said, like the Power of Now, New Age stuff, any type of Eastern philosophy, I read on that. I read like the Tao. I had like a mini book on the Tao or whatever. It's like the Chinese one. Read all that stuff, looked into Buddhism a little bit, not as much as I probably would. One thing I want to do one day, and that's how I would
highly suggest it.
Yeah, then like that's kind of my thing about it. Taoism. Thank you, Raging Unicorn. And I think it's pronounced Taoism though.
Yeah, Taoism. Yeah.
And that's kind of like my background on it. So like whatever pick point, if you find like something in there that you want to go off of, or you could just go on a tangent. Like,
no. So that has a lot. Like. Not to man, I'm fucking coming off as super douchebag this fucking podcast. But
disclaimer, he is not a douchebag.
Douchey tendencies. Not full douchebag, but I'm leaning. But yeah, like so coming from a meditation standpoint, and having gone through similar states, it's really interesting because a lot of people will come to me and ask like, hey, Si, you say you know a lot about meditation, so this is what I've been doing. And it's a situation of having gone through it myself. Oh shit, the lieutenant is here.
What's up, Larry? Who's this douche on the left?
But going into this like meditation aspect, it's always really interesting to me to talk to people about the meditation aspect because in most cases it's very rare for me to find somebody that has gone further than I have in meditations. And most of the times, the only people that I can find that have done that are meditation masters. To the point where...
Even like monks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because one thing I used to do back when I was younger is I used to do this thing. They actually have a term for it. It's called investigators. Basically, all religions that have missionaries and whatnot, when they go out door to door, there's a certain classification of people that they call investigators. And the investigators are people that are willing to talk to them about whatever religion or whatever idea they have because they are trying to investigate and prove them wrong.
Oh my God.
And I used to do this. a lot. Like to where Mormons, you come to my house.
Oh, you were ready.
And you're like, yeah, and I'm like, and they're like, hey, do you mind if we share a word with you? And I'm like, yeah, come on in. Let's fucking sit down. You guys drink some tea. We'll fucking have a conversation. We'll ask some questions. I used to do this with Mormons. I used to do this with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh my God.
Evangelists. Just because I was always curious about like, well, what are your thoughts about it? Like, what distinguishes you from these other sects, etc. But in terms of like meditation, though, it's really interesting to me to talk to people about meditation because, like you were saying, the initial phase of like starting out with focusing on your breathing and trying to clear your thoughts, and then trying to like maybe after you're comfortable with clearing your thoughts, going into a situation where now you're okay with thoughts stepping into your mind, but then you notice those aren't really you. It's just a thought that's there that appears out of nowhere. And then it's like the same thing when you're doing a focused meditation on the things around you. Like if there's like sounds and things going on, you're like actively listening to the sounds. And like, say if your eyes were closed, you're painting a mental picture of these sounds. So it's always really interesting to me when people get to this state, because that's when it's like, yes, you figured out how to meditate. You figured out the core of meditation. But it's always interesting to me because most people don't ever go beyond that step of what the core of meditation is. And basically, in terms of meditation, in terms of focusing on your breathing, in terms of clearing your thoughts, in terms of focusing on the things that are going around you, or actively listening, um, you'll notice that the one thing that is aligned in all of those things, the one common tool or the common thing that you're using is your willpower. You're using your willpower to focus on these things, right? Or to not
Yeah.
focus on these
I
things.
didn't think about it like that, but yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
and
Yeah.
it's
You're
literally directing your attention.
you're
And so it's like
directing
once
your
you get
consciousness
comfortable,
kind of thing.
exactly. Once you get comfortable directing your consciousness, then in my opinion, so like Rio, this is like directly like speaking to you, like what I think you would benefit a lot from is imaginative meditation. Um, and so basically what I say is it's like once you get comfortable with being able to clear your mind and whatever, then start creating things with your imagination, right? And so you always have to start very basic, because like everyone thinks that they're like, oh yeah, my imagination's great. I can imagine things, pretty well. And it's like, can you really? Like when you actually close your eyes and start imagining things and say you're imagining a square, how well can you see that square?
How detailed
How
is it?
well can you see those colors?
Yeah.
And it's like most people are like, oh yeah, I have the idea of it, but it's like, no, but can you actually see it as though you were actually looking at it in real life? Until then, your imagination is actually pretty fucking weak. Like, unless you can imagine something and you can actually see it as though it were real and as though it were in front of you, the imagination is very weak. And so it's like that's what meditation is actually trying to teach you. Meditation is trying to teach you to direct your willpower, to direct your thoughts and your
Holy brain
consciousness
blast.
to actually create things. And then once you can do that, like in your consciousness, so it's like first what you want to do is you want to start with just very basic things. Like for instance, creating shapes, creating colors, creating, maybe a scene, right? And then as soon as you can start doing that, as soon as you can start actually vividly seeing these colors, vividly hearing these sounds, vividly feeling these sensations, then what you do is you go and you start replaying your memories. Um, and by doing this and like replaying your memories is one of the easiest ways to do it, because it actually doesn't take a lot of your imagination. It's more so your memory, and your memory is recreating through your imagination what you have already experienced, so that it's able to fill in the blanks very easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like like you're like, remember that time that I was at that party and I drank that booze, and it's like you got the vivid image of you drinking the can of booze and you screaming, and then your mind is able to fill in the rest because it remembers what was there, right? And it's like, so you start replaying your memories, and then after you get really comfortable with literally reliving your memories, then you can modify them. Then you can modify your memories to the point where like you relive a memory, but you don't like how that memory played out. So you remember how it actually played out, but you decide like, well, instead of that situation, what if I had done this? And then your brain, being already comfortable filling in those blanks, will create that new scenario. And that new scenario actually becomes a new memory. And you can actually choose to have that memory replace your old memory. But the problem with that, and I would not suggest doing that, is you lose sight of reality and who you actually are, because
Yeah.
then you're remembering shit that didn't really happen. Um,
Oh.
and then so on and so forth. And it's like, and that's like the next step. But the thing is it goes so much further than that. Like once you figure out that little key of how to imagine things through meditation and how to clear your mind, et cetera, the next phase directly after that, and that's the one that I don't tell people about, because it's a situation where if you get told about it before you are actually there or actually ready for it, it fucks everything up.
Yeah.
But it's to where I suggest to everyone, like, really, if there's one thing that you could do to improve your life, like in all honesty, it's like in Rio, I know you're latch onto this and love this, but it's like the things that you can do if your life is not going well. The first things you should evaluate: are you eating properly? Are you exercising properly? Are you sleeping properly? That's it. If you're not doing those 3 basic things properly at first, then don't worry about anything else. Do those things properly, and it's not even like you have to be a master at those things. But then directly after that is meditation, and everyone should meditate. It's just, do we have fucking time for that? You know what I mean? Like, I gotta go to work. I gotta go meet this person. Like,
I think to get to the deeper level, so I had an epiphany moment there because you definitely went to the next tier of it that I had no idea. Because it almost I love how this wraps so perfectly into what we talked about with like the vibration of high energy creation, fucking creation and sharing and love is at the top. And the point, if you get deep into meditation from your experiences, is that it is about learning about creating. And it's so funny the way you said all of that. So one time, and this is actually what I used one time to get over my ex, to be honest. One of the things, I always bring it back to this because I learned so much in that breakup. Like, it's always the same fucking story. Also, chat, you're hilarious.
This to me, bro.
Like so I forgot what book I read and who it was by, but it was one of those big self-help guys. And the book said, if you're going through a memory and you want to, and it's like scarring and it's like emotional to you, what you have to do is be able to get into a state where you can rewrite the memory in a way where it's like, okay, so let's say this person, like, I'm going to use this as an extreme example. This is not what happened to me. But, like, let's say you walk on your significant other and they're cheating on you and you found out. Like, literally, you caught them in the act. Like, that has happened to people. And that, like, I can only imagine what that feels like. That is probably one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah.
And so that can scar you, especially emotionally. I think we always remember the memories that have a lot of emotional attachment to them in that moment. Like, you remember that emotion. And what the book said and what this guy preaches is that if you want to get rid of that memory, you need to imagine it in a funny way, or like do whatever you need to. Literally imagine them as stick figures and give the guy like a little funny face. Do whatever you want. He like gets into the details and play some funny music over it and just rewrite the memory. Yes, it's happening, the same memory, but you're rewriting it from a different perspective of like almost like oh my god, it's so fucking funny how like this like the way I look at one of these things, I literally rewrote the memory in my brain. Like it's still the same thing. But I laugh at it now.
You still remember the original memory.
Yeah, I still laugh, but I laugh at it now from a different perspective because I'm like, oh, it's so fucking funny looking back at it. Like, it's probably like it was probably like going back to like let's say they, you know, to like your significant other was cheating on you. It's like, oh, you can laugh at like the position that was going on, or just like, oh, he looks so fucking stupid like this, or she just looks funny doing this, and it's like, it sounds weird if you haven't done it. I know, and I'm maybe not articulating it the best, but you can actually do it. And from the sounds of it, it's like I didn't realize that like the next tactical inting. I preach that. Yes, the next step of meditation is creation, which I didn't fucking realize. That's fucking holy shit. Like, and actually that goes into another point. Have you ever heard of like the book and the movie The Secret, and like manifesting and like okay, like I'm gonna say like they bring it a little bit overboard and people take it the wrong way. Oh, if I think it would just happen. But
I mean, in reality, it is kind of like that, but they skip all the phases that it takes to actually fucking get there.
Like somebody was like, I'm imagining a parking spot and exactly where it's going to be, and it's going to be there. And every time I've been there, it's always there. And I'm like, okay, this is not how the manifesting works. Like, that is outside of your control. Like, that is 100% outside of your control. You cannot control the parking spot being opened with your fucking mind. However,
and that's where they get you with the like the clickbait type shit.
Yeah, they do.
Where it's like it kind of works like that. Yes. But
or can you? No, you
or
cannot.
Can you?
You cannot. But it's more of the concept of it is that you manifest. If you think about it like this, chat and Silent, I think you already know about this. So it's like you have an idea. Whatever is in this world started out as a thought. Mm-hmm. And it's the point of this all is to teach you how.
My favorite subject.
Yeah, the point of this is to teach you how powerful your mind can be, because anything that ever was a thought, and everything starts in here. So that's how powerful your mind is. Like, okay, like let's just take every invention ever. We'll start it as an idea, and it's progressed to the point where like we have insane shit now.
Yeah, it's like to literally pause around you, right? And it's like, unless you're looking at an organic being, like for instance, that plant back there, right? But like you look at the lamp, you look at the microphone, you look at my jacket, you look at the fucking stick, you look at the router back there, you look at all that. That's someone's idea. It is literally the physical manifestation of someone's idea. Literally everything in the human world that we consider as society or whatever is a manifestation of thought. And that's really what Rio's talking about. So Rio, continue.
Yes. No, yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. And what the book, I mean, if you guys want to go look at it, it's called The Secret. But like, don't take it too literally because too many people do that. Is that it's you? So I'll take my podcast for example. Or just in general my stream. I want to start streaming. Okay, so you go out and start streaming. Okay, well then you start having the idea of, okay, well I want to have a better stream. How do I get a better stream? Then I started noticing other people networking and the effects of networking, and you're like, okay. All it does in my eyes is it opens up the opportunities that are already in front of you to do whatever you want to do, and it allows those to become. It brings it from your idea part of your thinking part of your mind to your conscious part of your mind, and you start thinking, okay. Now you're just consciously aware of these opportunities that were always in front of you because you're consciously manifesting your idea in the world and you're looking for ways to solve it and how you can literally make it happen. So for me, it was like, okay, I want to stream and I wanted to do something besides streaming. Okay, well, I wanted to start a podcast. So then I started looking into the ideas of like, how could I start a show? Who should I bring on? And it just opens up your mind to start thinking about the things that you want to get done. And that's all it is. It's a pathway into, if you want to get something done, yes, you have to believe full force that it's going to happen, but it's also just opening up the sight to all the opportunities that are already in front of you that you just can't see because that's not where your focus is.
Did you just give us the real secret? You just gave us the real secret, Rio. That's what the secret is actually about.
Yeah. So the way the mainstream media will talk about it is, if you think it will just happen. I think there's going to be $100 in my hand right now. Any minute now. It's coming. It's coming. Which is not exactly what it is. But that's like so that's my interpretation of it. It sounds like you have a similar view on it.
Yeah. Okay, so not to get too deep into philosophy, but
bring it.
Let's go into philosophy.
We're coming up on an hour and 15, 20 minutes? Fuck it, keep going.
Fuck it, it's time. All right. So you remember how I was saying that I used to do the investigating thing with different religious people that would come to my house.
I
right?
wish I could just okay, so real quick, if you could like take a part of time and just go witness it. I think one of the things I'd take is just watching those moments that come on in, let's have a nice chat. Here's some tea. Like, what do you got for me? I would love to just be there like a ghost on the wall.
Nah, to the point where I would literally go through all of their religious practices until it came to the point of accepting a baptism or like becoming part of the church, right? Because then I would flat out, because I was always open with them. I was like, I'm just curious, and like I'm not saying that I'm going to join your church and blah blah blah. And they'd be like, well, if you're curious, blah blah. And so I would like for instance, I know 100% how the Mormon church operates. I know how the Jehovah's Witness church operates. I know how the Catholic Church operates. I know how the Baptist Church. But I would always get to the point where like I would go through all the steps and like listen to all their arguments, and they'd be like, "Well, do you want to be baptized?" And I'd be like, "Well, no, because I don't want to go that far, because then it's disingenuous for me to say that I actually like fully 100% believe in these things." But one of the things, and so this goes back into being able to manifest thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So I would explain so I remember having this conversation with these Mormon gentlemen that came to my house, and they came into the house, and we were talking, and this is after meeting them multiple times and whatnot.
Oh, okay. So
like,
this is multiple visits from the same people.
Oh yeah. Like to the point where like when an evangelist comes to my house, like I tell them like, I hope you're ready to like, because I'm down anytime you fucking stop by. Like, for instance, right now, if they were to knock on the door,
you bring them
and
in.
Be like, hey, do you have time to talk? I'd be like, well, I'm doing a stream right now, but if you're comfortable coming on stream and talking, yeah, let's fucking sit down and talk.
Come to the dojo. You're in my dojo now.
Welcome to the dojo. But so I was having this one conversation with these Mormons, and they're like, do you have any questions for us? And I was like, actually, I do. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I wanted to ask you this question.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, I have tons.
Yeah. And so this is the question that I posed to them, right? So I posed to them this idea, and I was like, and this is almost word for word verbatim how I started off. I was like, so you guys know about Albert Einstein? And they were like, yeah, I know about Albert. And I was like, and you know how there's the theory of space-time, the space-time continuum, where space equals time and time equals space. It's where if you have time, you have space. If you have space, you have time.
Oh, here we go.
Right? And they were like, yeah.
Rabbit
and
hole.
I was like,
here we go.
Yep.
We're going in.
And so I asked them, I was like, so heaven and your conception of heaven and how heaven exists in God's realm and whatnot, and especially in terms of God is infinite, right? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, so he has infinite time. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, so, and really this is the, what is it? It's the dialectical conversation, because I was leading them into this. But I was like, so if you have, if heaven exists for all eternity, then it should have infinite time. And they were like, yeah. And so I was like, so like theoretically, if you're in heaven and you started walking in one direction, you could walk in that direction forever, because there's infinite time. And because there's infinite time, there should be infinite space. Right? And they were like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. That makes kind of sense.
Yeah. I guess that's logical. Yes.
Yeah. and I could tell, they weren't comfortable with having thought about this. But I was like, so if you can walk in an infinite direction because you have infinite time to do that, and so therefore you would have infinite space, then that means that you would have no borders, right? Like you can't have a border because there's the end of your time, the end of your space. And I was like, so if you have infinite time or space, but you can't have a border, then what is this? Where do we exist? Are we a border of heaven? Or can heaven move into where we're at because it cannot have a border?
So you're saying, like, just so I know where you're going with this, you're trying to contradict them in the sense that heaven is infinite and God's existence is infinite, so
yes,
he should be here with us, or we
exactly.
are already. Oh my God, I love where this is going.
So then when I started to add, and they were like, we'll have to get back to you on that. So then fast forward a few days, they come back and they're like, we have an answer for you.
Oh, they came back.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
they literally left. They literally left. They're like, all right, we gotta have we gotta get a game plan.
Yeah.
This guy.
What it was they literally met with their elders. They talked with their elders, and they were like, and because when they came back, they're like, yeah, so we talked with our elders, and like they taught us, like, well, this is. They were like, it was really funny because they were really open with me. They were like, basically their elders told them, first of all, be careful with this person. He is testing your faith. And I was like, I'm not testing your fucking faith. I'm just posing
he's
questions.
A blasphemer.
Yeah, they're like, be careful with this guy. He is testing your faith.
This is I love this.
But keep talking with him because he will cause you to grow.
You're a demon.
So they were like, so they came back and they were like, oh no, so we have an answer. We have an answer for you. They told us an answer, and basically what they said was, they were like, so the answer is that technically this is an area of heaven, but it operates according to different rules, but it exists in the same realm as heaven, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to tie this all back to what you were saying in terms of manifestation of like thoughts and things like that, then the next thing I asked them, I was like, so I always had this really interesting idea of, like, as somebody that's read the Bible a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rio, and I'm also, like, I've read the Bible a
Don
good
Bosco
amount,
Preparatory High School, great place.
There we go. Shout out. But like
the boys.
So one thing that I noticed is, like, for instance, let's term it this way. We're gonna go outside
Dude,
of the religious.
I need more wine. Holy shit, where this is going, man. Okay.
But let's term it in this way. All right, so we're gonna term it outside of religious aspect or religious perspective.
Okay.
So let's picture the physical universe as we know it right now, right? And according to modern physics, what we know is that the universe is infinitely expanding.
Yes.
It just continuously expands, and like most modern science, like at the absolute cusp of science right now, is actually saying that it's shrinking in the rate at which it expands. It used to be, the current understanding used to be that it actually expands faster and faster as you go out to the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But in general, one of the things that all scientists are pretty much aligned on is that the universe is infinitely expanding. Now, that's not saying that maybe eventually it stops expanding and then collapses, so that you have, the what is that called? Eternal recurrence, or that it just continuously expands until you have heat death.
Yeah, the heat death of like the entropy of the world, and then it's another Big Bang because apparently there's been a couple. Yes. Oh my God, we gotta have another conversation about this shit later. Oh jeez, but yeah, let's keep it on this one.
But so to tie it back to the religious people,
Heat death.
So one thing I asked them after they came back and told me that yes, this is a realm of
Heaven, yeah.
and that heaven itself actually exists infinitely. So I asked them, I was like, so there's always one thing that I've been very curious about in terms of the Bible, and the Bible is very, very clear on committing a sin is equivalent, or thinking of a sin is equivalent to committing the sin, right? They're like pretty much the same thing. If you think a sin, it's almost the same thing. It's not like 100% the same thing, but it's almost the same thing as committing the sin.
To some extent,
where,
yeah. Like the more extremist part of it, yeah.
I would agree. If you're thinking about adultery, you're committing a sin. If you do adultery, you're committing a sin. Mm-hmm. To the point where they're both whatever. And I was always curious as to, well, why is thinking about the sin a sin? Because I'm just thinking, right? Like, it's like shouldn't I be allowed to think about it so that I can know not to do it, or so that I can recognize when I'm in that situation, when it could happen, etc. And so the question that I posed them is like, well, if thinking about a sin is almost the same as committing a sin, does it have anything to do with the infinity of the universe? Because if you think about how infinity is actually defined, right? Infinity is defined as like literally unlimited space, unlimited recombinations, etc. So that in terms of like whatever you are thinking, if the universe is actually infinite, then at some point or some place, whatever you think must exist because it is a possibility, because you are thinking about it.
Wait, repeat that? Hold up.
So because the universe is infinite, right?
Yeah.
And because out of all of infinity, literally every possible combination of anything that could ever happen has to fit, because otherwise it wouldn't be infinity.
It's almost like the kind of multiverse thing where if this dimension is infinity, then every possible outcome could fit in this space.
Exactly. So if every possible outcome could fit, then in the idea that you're thinking about something, that literally means that it must exist somewhere else in the universe.
Holy fuck.
And this is why thinking a sin is equivalent to doing a sin, because even though you didn't do it, just by thinking it, you are creating it in the infinity of the universe or multiverse. So that you have to be very careful and very guarded with your thoughts.
Holy fucking shit. So what do they say to that?
When I asked them this, right? What the fuck
did they say to that?
So when I asked them this,
holy shit, man.
They give me this look, and guess what? It was really funny. It was actually really funny because I remember.
Keep talking. I have headphones. I need to find more wine. I can hear you though. I'm listening.
So when I asked them this, it was literally the same thing. They look at each other and they're both like, "We don't have a response for that. We're gonna have to consult our elders again." And then basically they leave. They go and they consult their elders. Their elders come back, and their response is that you are actually like they told me, they're like, you are actually one of the highest theological thinking minds to exist. This is actually esoteric knowledge that is only shared with elders, and we would really like for you to be a part of the church. And I was like, ah, we'll chill here.
So basically, they didn't have an answer for you, but they just strung it back to, we think you would be a great addition to our team,
to the church,
our team over here. Oh my God.
it was just a really it was a really interesting time period to talk with people, and like that's what I like to do in terms of religion, is just to like you'd be a fine addition to our collection. Exactly.
My
Um,
goodness.
the many worlds theory is in regards to different particles that can exist. Yeah, but even in terms of like, I'm not gonna get into it. Run, 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 run.
And I'm being told we don't have there's only the good wine left, and I'm not worth the good wine.
You're not worth the good wine.
I'm
No
not
way.
worth it. Do we have any cheap bottles?
No,
No.
I'm looking now.
All right, because I know you want some more. All right, it's fine.
But
Now I'm set. Wait, hey, how much does the bottle of the good wine cost?
Mom, how much does a bottle of the good wine cost?
20.
20, 25?
Okay. How about this?
Oh,
You
God,
and me,
no.
we go halves on this bottle.
All right,
Tell-
Mom,
tell
what
your
if
mom-
What if me and my friend here, we compensate on the bottle and we just open it and we'll buy a $30 bottle instead.
Yep.
Who's gonna pay for it?
Me and him.
Me and him.
He
I'll
has
donate
comp-
money
he's literally
right
just saying
now.
it's his idea.
He's
I will.
got-
I will
can pay-
donate
he can
money
pay, yeah, but
right
he's
now.
drinking and he wants me to drink with him.
I want to Venmo.
I will Venmo
now.
you right now.
Venmo.
Okay, but my phone's broken, so I have to do it. I can Venmo you after the show.
All right.
All right, we're doing it. Is it the Joel Gott
Okay, good.
or the what is it? No, it's the Josh. Okay, I like the Josh. Okay, all right. So we're opening
we
up.
go.
We're
We
opening.
did it. We got
we
you
did
more
it.
booze.
What?
So I'm good. So
I got you. Don't worry. I work sometimes. Okay.
So I donate you $15 after the show's done, and then you donate. You
Oh,
take
yeah,
your
yeah,
$15.
yeah. I take my
and-
15,
okay,
I'll
cool.
throw it.
Half a case, and I'll buy half a case tomorrow to last us through the pandemic.
We'll talk about this afterwards, Mother. She's bringing up the pandemic now. But okay, so
Oh yeah, because you gotta go out and buy it.
yeah. I mean, oh my God, we'll see about that shit. Okay,
that's
so
an extra $10. You risking her life there.
yeah, that's some insurance money right there. Why would you want to drink wine? Because I'm cultured. I love red wine because I used to hate it, and then me and my mother and my roommate lived with me for about a month before he went back to like France or California. He was French, but he like was in the United States, and we just drank so much red wine together. This is when I smoked cigarettes too. And we would just drink and smoke all the time. And then eventually I was like, this shit tastes good now. I feel like you got to just drink a ton of red wine until it tastes good. And you're like, yeah, I love this
Yeah.
shit. It's an acquired taste. I actually believe that. All right, so we got it. All right, hold on. We got the bottle. Thank you, Mother.
Woo!
Everybody say thanks, Mama Rio. Come on, say hi.
Thanks, Mama Rio.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Thank you, Mother. This is not TOS, right? Just pouring some wine.
No, it's not you.
Oh, that's a
I mean,
big
you're
glass.
21.
God damn. Okay, we got a lot. Got a lot to talk about.
Look.
What are we looking at?
Damn, she gave you a fourth of the bottle.
Bottle level.
All right, so we're good. Thanks. Everyone says thanks, Mom. All right, so we got a lot to talk about then. Cheers,
Wait,
cheers, chat.
Cheers, Rio.
Cheers, chat. Cheers, silent. This has been going great so far. Oh, camera can't handle it. Okay, so that's not a good Christian language. Okay, so holy shit. Okay, so I want to hear more about like another story that you. Okay, so I guess what's your overall arcing idea or thoughts on the idea of like every religion? And like, are you more religious or spiritual, if you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean by that. So along that last question that you asked, definitely more spiritual than religious. Because the
bring
way
it
that
up.
I like to distinguish it is basically a religious aspect, a religious individual is somebody that really identifies with the institutions.
Yes.
To me, religion is institutions. And identifying as like this institution, so for instance, Catholicism, Buddhism, Jingoism, whatever the fuck you want to say. It's identifying with the tenets of those things, and that is what religion is. Religion is the organized version of spiritualism.
Yes.
But in terms of like spiritualism, one thing like as far as religion goes in general, I side more to the spiritual aspect, because one thing that I have noticed after being somebody that has investigated multiple religions, because like basically I've studied, in terms of like all the religions I've studied a lot of Christianity, so almost all sects of Christianity, because I want what are the differences in Christianity So I've studied almost all sects of Christianity. I've studied, and so that includes Mormonism, that includes Jehovah's Witnesses, that includes Baptist, Lutheran, Catholics, etc. And then there's also Eastern philosophy. I've studied a lot of Tao. I've studied a lot of Buddhism. I've studied a lot of Shintoism. And then there's also the Jewish religion, to where I've studied a lot of the Kabbalah. I've studied a lot of the the Torah, even though I haven't read much of the Torah.
You're a Renaissance man of religions. You kind of know either a lot or at least some degree of knowledge about almost all of them.
At least a little. There's actually only one field that I don't know, and it actually really upsets me that I don't know enough about it, and that would be the Muslim religion. I don't know anything about the Quran. I don't know anything about the Muslim religion in general. And I try and stray away from anything that I've heard from mainstream media about, there's I don't know what do they call that? Sunni law.
Yeah, the Sunni law, where it's like I feel like every religion has that. Like if you look close enough in the Bible, it literally says you must stone the gay person, and if your wife cheats on you, you must stone her as well. It's like, okay, but like we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, see, Sharia law. That's what
Sharia
it is.
law, yeah.
Like to where Diddles is like, which is better, science, Shia, Sunni, or Ibadi? I actually don't fucking know, because I don't know. That's like the one area that I don't actually understand in terms of religion that I really should have learned, because I really wanted to, due to the stigmatism of like, especially living in the U.S. of like how we stigmatize the Muslim religion.
Yeah,
and so like I knew. Thing. Yeah, and I knew, just having investigated different religions, that like our stigmatism is probably a characterization, and it's not actually what's going on.
Real quick, I love the civilization joke in there. Love that one. That was a good one. All right, go on. Sorry.
But like, I lost my point. I lost the point. We were talking about different religions and.
Okay, so I was. This is good, because I kind of asked you your overall thoughts on it, and I agree with you perfectly on the sense that, okay, there's a difference between spirituality, which is what I personally identify with now. I used to think like this shit was bullshit, meditation, all this shit was fucking bullshit, everything didn't matter, and like it's fine. And I used to okay, so I've gone through the spectrums of like, at one point I was a fucking hardcore atheist who thought Jesus was a fucking psychopath. I don't believe that anymore. Then I went from that into being actually like, I would pray, dude. Okay, I went to a Catholic school. Hello, this is Anthony Gallo with the morning announcements. We will now pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And you just go through the prayers. I prayed so much, and I was like half the time either going through the motions, or like if I really wanted to pray that day, I would pray. So I understand the whole like, okay, being in the religion and actually believing it, and then being like out of it, and then how could you think Jesus was a psychopath? So that's the thing is, I don't anymore. I actually did at one point, like when I was a fucking stupid ass teenager. I actually believe that religion hit the whole mark. I believe that every prophet, or whatever you want to call them, had such phenomenal ideas, but it got lost along the way, and we focused. It got lost along the way of there's so many things in the Bible, and I have to do a lot of other. I mean, I'm doing it off my own experience and knowledge. There's so many things in other religions that point to these things that all are connected in any religion you see it in. But we focus on the wrong things in every text.
Yep.
And that's why I think religion is a great thing. It was trying to do something that I think it got warped into, the fucking Crusades and all this other bullshit. Like it's done a lot of good, but it's done a lot of bad, and it's because it's been used as a construct of power that, as ultimately humans, we warp. Because when there's power, there's always somebody who wants to take it. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, so you asking me like in terms of like where I am on the spectrum in like religion or like spiritualism is I would say, and the reason why I said I'm more spiritual than religious is for that exact reason, is because I feel like a spiritual person recognizes the common motifs that are present in almost all religions. Like if you really get down to the core text of most religions, and it's really weird that a fucking non-religious, well, I guess he's not non-religious, but it's really weird that a philosopher would have really hit the nail on the head. And it's the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto you. Immanuel Kant.
Yeah.
And that's really the fucking like one of the like main pillars of literally every single religion. Unless and this is like I don't even want to talk about it for a second. But there's only one group of people that I actually this gonna be TOS Rio, and I feel bad for saying this on stream. This is gonna be TOS. There's only one group of people that I actually actively hate on, and that's Luciferians and Satanists. And we're not going to get onto that, and I apologize beforehand if I've offended anyone in channel for saying that.
Twitch, if you watch this, please. It was Silent K. His Twitch link is right over there. It was not me. I do not endorse anything on this show. We are here to talk about things, but it's okay.
But other than that, like almost every single religion, I can understand their perspective and like what they're trying to do because it's all very, very, very common. The only exception is the Satanists. They're the only one that I'm just like, I don't know how you could even come to this idea.
It's hard to understand their side of it.
Well, I mean, I understand their side of it. It just doesn't make logical sense. But we're not. I don't want to.
Yeah, let's steer away from that.
Yeah. But yeah, but like that ties into the spiritual aspect of like that's why I will identify as spiritual because I say that like I say that like most religions have a common aspect, and it's insofar as they align towards peace and understanding that they are speaking the truth. And insofar as they move away from it, that's when you realize that it's like it's probably not the religious leaders that are preaching that.
Yeah.
It's probably the people that are attempting to control those texts for the sake of power. And that's why I shy away from religion itself, because it's like there's a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like if you say that you're aligned with a certain particular type of religion, well, then somebody can bring up to you, well, what about the time that, you know, you fucking knocked over Constantinople and because of religious premises and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, I guess I can't agree with that aspect. But wait, you know, and so it's, I don't know. It's a really interesting conversation, like
it's a very gray
difficult
area.
conversation.
It's a very gray area, you know? And I feel like my thing is I still miss Vicente. God, some of these comments, you guys are insane. I feel like it goes back to that sense of like, and what really opened my eyes to it was also when you said that 2S thing, we lost a couple viewers there, so sorry.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
I actually do feel bad when I talk shit about it, but like, anyway, yeah, I can't.
Don't even worry about it.
Boast.
I thought it was a funny thing. So it's like when I read the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which is just my introduction to like Eastern philosophy and like the fucking, you know, New Age shit. Is like he in that book specifically states I don't know, I mean I wish I had reread it for this so I could bring up examples, but he specifically states things from the Bible, from the Torah, from what's the Muslim one?
Quran.
The Quran, literally all of them. He states something from almost all of them and says in Buddhism, and he just says like this is what they were talking about. Like why are we not talking like this is in the like this is quoted from each text. Why are we not talking about this?
Yeah, why is this not the focus?
Yeah, and I feel like
stone the gays.
Yeah, stone the gays. That's what we need to do. That's what will solve everything. Stone the gays. And it's like the thing that Quran, yeah, okay. Quran? Is that how you say Quran?
Quran. It's Quran. You're saying
okay.
it right, but that's how it's spelled.
Okay. And it just goes back to like a sense of, well, so here's my thought on it. It's like, and this might actually tie into your heaven is infinite thing, and we're in the realm of infinity of heaven. I believe that actually. I believe that we are actually part of maybe whatever you want to call it, heaven, and that heaven and earth are just part of this realm, and that it's things that it's not the manifestation of the devil, it's not the manifestation of angels, it's the consciousness that we all are tied together in some shape, way, or form, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you can really tie it in with the fact that now that my grandmother and my mother are walking in from outside, I'm like, oh boy.
Be careful with how you're
Be careful, yeah.
Blasphemer.
What's up, Frenchie? How you doing? It's like there's so many things and aspects that I think are tied to the real world. Like I think the thing that Jesus was trying to preach, and maybe the Buddha, is like heaven and God are inside of us. And it's not this external thing, like whatever you want to call it, like God, fucking consciousness. Like it's not this external fucking happy place in the sky. You know, it's it's like that sense of the demon or the devil is something that you're battling every day because it's yourself. You know, you're
Yeah.
fighting against yourself and that other side of who you are that you maybe don't want to be. It's like it comes back to the manifestation and the thing that we talk about, like the thoughts. Like you are the watcher, not the thinker.
Yep.
And it's a constant struggle with that. And I think that's like a lot of things that the Bible talks about, and we just do not focus on that. We don't focus on the internal conflicts. It's all these like, oh, it's these figureheads that we pray to and we preach, and we don't look on the inside of it, which is like happening inside of us.
Yeah.
I'm watching my words
really,
here because I don't want to offend my grandmother.
Well, see, this is actually, I mean, honestly, this is a conversation that is very difficult to have in a public setting. Like this would be like for instance, if me and you were together, I already know that you would just be like, if it was just me and you sitting down,
Yeah.
you'd be like, this is blah blah blah, and I'd be like, yeah, and this, and even if we disagreed and we wanted to fight each other to the fucking death, which would not happen. But
here's a disclaimer for chat too, and anybody watching this on YouTube or the VOD. Like we are just talking about the discussion of it. We are not explicitly putting our opinions out there or forcing them on anybody. Like we respect everybody and anything that you believe. We are just trying to kind of like, that's kind of like the point of this show that I want to talk about is like Real Talks with Rio. Like I want to get into the real shit. And like these are kind of, I think, interesting discussions that people want to have but are too afraid to sometimes. And I want this to be a platform where at least I can have a discussion with someone like Silent, and you guys can observe and maybe take something away from it. But by no means are we attacking anybody. That is not the intentions of this, or trying to offend anybody. We just kind of want to explore the realms. Silent, I know what you're gonna say, but no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not
Don't
gonna
say it. Don't say it. Okay.
I'm not gonna say
no.
it. I'm
No.
not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
So, but yeah, that's like kind of how I see it. Is like it is the infinite world that we are a part of, but
yeah,
like we don't talk about it.
No.
You gotta search on it in your own, because it's this nuanced concept that I don't think I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think the public can handle it.
Yeah. Well, like to touch back on, like you were saying earlier about the concept of the kingdom of heaven being within, that is one of the primary
Thank you. Yes.
tenets
Perfect
of almost
quote.
all religions. To where it's like even the Buddha, who is not a big proponent of like there's a heaven. There is a heaven in Buddhism. But like it all comes down to it's an internal realm.
Yes.
And honestly, if you think about it, if anyone actually thinks about it, they'll realize that everything that they know or everything that they've experienced is all personal. It's all personal. And even though it's not necessarily done to you in a personal sense, like for instance, I wave my hand and I'm not personally, fucking waving you off. I just felt like waving my hand because I happened to be talking about it, and you could take it personally, and that it affects your world that way.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of you literally are building your own universe in your mind, and your universe does not share with my universe except in this physical realm and in terms of how far we can explain what is going on in our internal realm to the outside realm. But we all have our own internal realms, and it's like when you get into the idea of heaven is the kingdom within, then it comes down to like, well, what kind of realm are you actually building within yourself? What are you filling yourself with?
What does
what
your
type
kingdom
of
look like?
Exactly. And
What kind of kingdom what kind of kingdom do you want to build?
That really verges into what I actually do in real life. Like even though I'm a streamer, and even though I stream, I don't know, fucking 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day or whatever. Before I was streaming, the only thing that I did, guys, in all honesty, is like, yeah, I fucking went to work and whatever. But the only thing that I did was I cultivated my kingdom. And I would actually highly suggest that everyone does this, because I'll tell you right now, if you were to step into the realm that I have created in my mind, you would be blown away, because I am somebody that actually has invested time in literally creating a realm in my mind that I can go to at any time and like, hey, how you doing, subject? How you doing? Fucking building that I made. How you doing, tree?
How you doing,
How you doing,
tree?
thing? And not a lot of people have done that, but it's like it's very important to do that. By the Pope of Silence Kingdom.
You know
But
what?
see, the thing is,
It kind of goes along the quote of like wherever you are, there you'll be. You know, it's like the only thing you're guaranteed. I know. Okay, if you bring another joke, it's like taxes and stuff. The only thing that you guarantee in life is like death, and that you'll always be the one there for yourself.
Yeah.
And like, what is that? It's like that is your eternal kingdom.
Yep.
That is your heaven, and it could be your heaven or your hell. Which one are you gonna let take over? Which one do you want to? Which one do you want to side with? Are you gonna go in a upward spiral of momentum with high vibration energy? Are you gonna go in a low spiral down into the dark places of low vibration energy, and now you're living hell on earth?
Exactly. Silent K, happy place. That's what I'm saying.
Keck W.
So Rio, how do you feel about talking about futuristic aspects?
In what sense? In what sense?
Okay, so I'll break it down like this. So I'm a very secretive person. I'm very open in terms of like my emotions or like what I'm thinking at the current time or like what I think about my opinions on things. But there are certain areas where I'm very, very, very closed off. And so one of those areas is like talking about the future.
Okay.
Or like talking about conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Forewarning, a conspiracy theorist. We're not going to break into conspiracy theory because that's just not good for a podcast. We're not branding
InfoWars. We are now the new InfoWars.
But like one area that I really like to think about is futurism, and in terms of like, well, what is like the logical likelihood of what we're going to go into. And so I'm wondering it like, do you want to talk about this? Like, what are your thoughts
like
on these
straight
things?
up the future?
Yeah, straight up the future. Because and I want to
Oh boy.
I want to put us in a box, right? Because think about the things that we're talking about. Think about the things that we're talking about in terms of like creating your own mental kingdom, creating, or like I'm about to give you the fucking secret right now, and it's only because I've been drinking. It's the only reason why I'd be willing.
Of
to
course,
talk about
that's why we brought out the booze.
Exactly. But you remember how we were talking about how everything around us being a manifestation of someone's thought.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, hold on. Before we dive into this.
Yeah. So you know where I'm going. You know where
I know where you're going with this, but. And this is probably going to be. We'll probably wrap up everything with this long conversation that will probably stem from this. So let's like put a timer at like, okay, maybe like 11 p.m. my time. So like the next 40 minutes, we'll see where we're at. And if we're just say, fuck it, we keep going, but we'll put a time, because I know people want to do customs with you and shit. So we'll put a timer there to like see where we're at. Let's take a nice bathroom break for everybody. And,
yeah, there we go.
And let's come back to it within the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'll be like 40 seconds at that best because bathroom's right there. So why don't we do a quick bathroom break? Viewers, if you want to just go to the bathroom, and if you have any questions, maybe you guys want to put in the chat, we'll come back and we'll maybe like dive into those for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before we start our like ultimatum of the conversation. So so let me type that in just so I fucking remember. It's like future outcome. I'm just gonna put future outcome to remind me in case we forget. It's like whatever you think the future might hold and where we're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then this is a very broad question. Okay, so everybody take 5 minutes. We're gonna go to the bathroom, and we'll come right back. And I'm gonna put on.
Well, let's do it in shifts. You go to the bathroom first. I'll hang out with people.
All right, you hang out with people. You read chat. All right, so chat, talk to Silent, ask him questions, and then we'll
and then we switch.
Yes, perfect, great idea.
All right, so what if I need to take a fat shit? We'll go fucking take a diddles, then go use the bathroom. Do I have to have sexy like you guys to be a streamer? Okay, so Raging Unicorn, you've actually asked this question multiple times, and I've actually wanted to address this. No. 100% no. First of all, we're not that sexy. Second of all, you don't have to be even moderately. You can be the most ugly person in the fucking world. Okay, maybe not the most ugly person in the world, but all it takes. No, I'm serious. Unicorn. Real talk. In order to be a streamer, you literally just have to have something about you. And it doesn't even have to be like in most situations, the most common thing, the most easy thing to have about you is that you're a people person and you like talking to people, right? But yes, even if you're ugly, you just have to have a gimmick. A gimmick. There has to be something that you are focused on that you're bringing to the table, that you're doing differently or doing uh outside of what people do. But in general, it comes down to the amount of effort. And it's really weird to me to have gone through schooling and to have learned this, that even though school is a bunch of bullshit, one thing that they do teach you that's very good is that just put out fucking effort. A lot of people are not willing to do this most basic thing. And so in order to be a streamer, you don't have to be attractive. You don't have to be anything. You just have to have effort. And so like Unicorn, it's like literally like, do I have to be attractive to be a streamer? No. Maybe your thing is you have a fucking crazy ass animated fucking 3D bot that is your avatar and people like identifying with a panda bot, right? Or maybe your thing is you just hardcore int and you're just a fucking super enter. Or maybe your thing is you're Tyler 1 and you're just a fucking super rager. One thing you'll notice about all streamers is that they have something about them that is the thing that they do. And it's like, for instance, with the dojo, the thing about the dojo, the thing that we do is we're a community-oriented stream. Or we are a stream that is more aligned with like just taking it easy or building community, or like, whereas like Rio, right? I don't know everything that Rio streams about, but I do know that a part of it is that Rio's actually a good player. And so you're actually coming to see some good gameplay while also engaging with somebody who is entertaining, who is able to talk about the stream.
Riofacer sat in the chat.
But like in general, it's like in order to be a streamer, the qualification of do you have to be sexy? No. 100% no. There are so many streamers that are way bigger than me and Rio that are not attractive in terms of whatever you would consider attractive. And it's like, well, how did they make it as a streamer? Well, they've got something. You just have to figure out whatever your fucking something is. Like maybe you're a meme streamer. Maybe you're a gameplay streamer. Maybe you're I don't know, you maybe you build a great comfortable place for the gay community. Maybe you fucking, I don't know, you hate on whatever the fuck. But it's literally like, just choose a niche and just do that. And don't worry about those areas that you're not good at or that you can't fulfill. Don't try and be those areas. Like if you think that you're ugly, then don't try and be a fucking attractive streamer. Just let it go. Just throw it away. You know, and you can do it. Basically, almost any type of personality can be a streamer, because the thing is streaming itself is about connecting to other people, like building a community that wants to be a community around whatever type of streamer you are. So yeah. So anyways, so that was
goddamn.
that was the
Okay.
All right, it's your turn, Rio. You got to take care of chat.
I got it. Okay. Well, goddamn. Well, what do you guys want to talk to me about? Also, what's up, Violet? Also, thank you guys for the follows. I see them. I just don't have notifications on for the show because also my DMs were not leaked. Like it wasn't anything. Fucking. Yeah, what do you guys want to talk to me about? What's your favorite Crusade? I don't have a particularly favorite one, but I think some of the movies were great. Rio, you're my favorite. You're my ADC and customs later. Okay, Violet. If I do join the customs, I might have to talk to my parents a little bit after this, but I'm planning on stopping by for sure. We'll see how late it gets, but I'm gonna be up, so I'll at least stop for one game or two for sure. But you can guarantee one game at least, Violet, for sure. Never invited, Megs. You just have to go to Silent's channel and you can play with us. What do you mean you're never invited? Megs. Okay, shout out to Megs in chat, guys. I don't know if you know Megs. He's my guy. He's probably the best one to troll. He's the best troll. He's the only reason I use Keck Wait, and it's one of my favorite Twitch emotes, and that's Meg's, guys. But he's also a nice guy. What is your favorite religious journey, and why is it the Spanish Inquisition?
What is it? Yeah, I just read that.
I sell toilet paper in the back. Keck Wait. Also, Silent, you need to get Keck Wait. Great emote. You can find it on
Okay.
Frankerface. It's an extension of
I'm gonna add
Keck
it to my
W.
notes.
It's as an extension of Keck W, but it's Keck Wait.
Okay,
It's great.
We're gonna do that.
Add that to the notes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to go for the next 30, because how long have we been going right now? 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I think we had about a 15, 20-minute fucking music, people coming in, and then we had 10 minutes of actually getting the stream started, and, like, you know, I feel like our first conversation was so fucking boring now compared to, like, everything that we fucking went into. We're like, yeah, this is my stream background, this is who I am, this is it, and then we're like, energy, let's talk about energy.
Well, see, you know what's funny to me, Rio, and this is exactly what happened when we conversation to prepare for the podcast.
Yeah.
Is that like we understood that like literally we're talking right now.
Alcohol.
I already know. alcohol,
It helps. I mean, I guess that helps with the next conversation. But yeah, go on, Silent.
But I already know that like literally we could probably do this for another 4 or 5 hours.
If we really wanted to, we honestly could. It's just there's gonna be an episode 2 of like our part 2 of specifically. That's a paragraph.
Ooh.
Specifically of what we're talking about. So, hold on, is this paragraph for a legitimate physicist?
No, this is the future.
Suggests that we may okay, so this is perfect. That we must establish a one world currency, a world language, and a state without borders. The second one has always seemed problematic to me because we will lose ideas that are esoteric in that language. Do you have any idea to resolve these issues? Should be dumbed down the language to create a more accessible language?
Wow. So first thing,
I'm
I
so
wanna field
impressed.
This question.
I'm so impressed that Twitch chat was able to come up with such an intellectual question. And
Well, first of all, this is Miguel. I know this guy in real life. This is actually one of the smartest people that I have met in my life. And Rio, as somebody that is a people person, I know that you can respect this. Of like having met thousands and thousands of people, I can hands down say that this guy is actually one of the smartest people I've ever met.
I like him already because like all I've seen is the Twitchable tip. This is why I love Twitch chat, because you have Twitch chat and then you have Miguel. And it's like if you're lucky enough in the big streams, let's say this was like a big stream, we would be lucky to be able to see Miguel's question.
Yeah.
You know,
and like, hey, somebody's asking a genuine question.
Like I can already tell this.
Star Trek, the French language doesn't exist. Whatever, diddles.
I can already tell Miguel is much smarter than I as well.
But
I guess we could start out with that if you want to roll with that one.
Yeah, so this actually ties into the futurist talk that I wanted to have.
If anybody says customs for the next 30 minutes, you're getting banned. All right, customs after 11 p.m. is allowed to be said. Mods on your game.
So first thing, I want to start this out with a preface, right? And because this is a podcast and it could potentially be around forever, I just want you to know that I understand the gravity of that. This could be around forever. And first thing that I want to say is fuck Michio Kaku.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, let me
That's
pull
the
up.
first thing I wanna
let me
say.
pull up a picture of this guy for anybody who doesn't know him.
Yep.
Michio. All right, so if you don't know this dude, you've definitely seen him. If you guys don't recognize the name, it's this guy. You guys know this guy?
Bring him up.
This dude?
Yep, Michio Kaku.
Yeah, it's this dude.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say he's dumb. I'm not going to say that he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I will say that
He has nice hair.
he's a shill. And he's a shill in the sense of he has sold his scientific knowledge and his scientific understanding for the whole idea of we must establish a one world currency and a world language and a state without borders. Because, Miguel, to answer your question, I actually don't think it's necessary to do that. All we need is an understanding of peace. We need an understanding of peace, and we need a city-state aspect, or literally what we have now, except we're all at peace and we all understand peace. Because, like you were saying, It's problematic because we will lose ideas that are esoteric in that language. Exactly. To where what is wrong with the idea of preserving a cultural identity, but removing the aspect of our culture is better than another culture? That's all we need to do. We
Yeah.
just need to remove the idea of cultural supremacy. It's not a situation of this culture is correct or this culture is wrong or et cetera. It's literally we just need to maintain our own identities, but we all work together and we all use our own cultural perspectives in order to build a better community. The way that I like to term this to people is like, for instance, what he is talking about. Let's put it in terms of farming, right? So in terms of farming, he is saying that we need to make a monocrop that fulfills all aspects, and we need to adapt all crops and all farms to this idea of this is the super mega monocrop. Well, here's the problem with that, though, and here's the reason why we diversify crop yields. Is because let's say some kind of weird virus or some kind of weird pest comes that we cannot fight and it decimates the entire crop. Oh, well, luckily we have other crops that still exist. Whereas if this were the one universal crop and this pest came and we couldn't fucking fix, this pest or whatever the fuck, bam, our entire crops, the whole world is entirely fucked. But because we have a diversified crop, this pest arrives, cool. We move to a different crop. It's the same thing with ideas. It's the same thing with cultures. It's the same thing like this cultural aspect is no longer able to thrive. Well, luckily there's a different culture that we can adapt their ideas to in order to continue to grow and thrive. To where the whole idea of a one world government, one currency, one world language, it all fails. And it's all so short-sighted, and it's all, and in all honesty, it's often preached as like this is a way to make things equal, but it's not. It's a supremacy thing.
Yeah.
It's literally like we are the supreme culture and the supreme whatever. So fuck everything else, and we got to get rid of it. And it's like no.
I feel like it's too like this is the right way, and you need to understand that this is the right way. And I think because there's no experience within it, how can you ultimately say that that is the direction that you should head in? I also feel like, I don't know, I think, and actually my ex taught me this was, because we actually had, like, one thing I loved about how I could talk to her is that she was super intellectual and like we could have these kind of conversations. She actually brought up that same idea that I didn't think about, is like, you lose your cultural identity. And it's like, because I came from a background of like, oh, but we're like, we should all recognize that we're all human first. But then she brought up the counter argument of, but like there's something about being in your culture and understanding your roots, and having that diversity of culture makes it that we are all the same, but we are also different. And I think that is something that humans have that is so incredibly amazing. And I think it's not a matter of, and it is important. It's like you have it's because, I mean, you can say like, okay, pride is a sin, but like, it's almost prideful to know like when you take pride in where you come from and your roots and all these other things. And it's almost humbling to know where you came from to where you are always, and it's like, look back, appreciate the past, but like, don't dwell on it. And like, why would you want to take all that away because it made you the person that you are today? And like, I just, in my opinion, okay, so this also may be branching the conversation a little bit because, okay, so anybody tuning in, because I know Jose was in the shower, kind of talking about like ideas about the future, and then Miguel in chat had like a really awesome idea or quote from, what was his name again?
Michio Kaku.
Yeah, Michio Kaku. Hope your podcast is going well, Rio. Sounds like you're spinning here. Hey, thank you, Tactician. Appreciate you stopping by. Shout out, Tactician. Poppy God NA. Just want to throw that in there. Mods, thank you. Grandmaster, he's awesome. Check him out.
Is he a streamer?
He's a streamer. I love him. Great streamer. He's always in my notification squad. I love it. Like, he's actually a homie. So check him out. Thank you, mods. And none of you have done it, so fuck you, mods. Thank you, Tactician, for shouting yourself out.
There we go.
Easy. So my idea is like, okay, so I'm going to stem the conversation a little bit. So I feel like we're heading in a direction, and this, I kind of, so I don't know what your thoughts are on Elon Musk, but one of my favorite podcasts of all time, which really got me into podcasts, was
I know where you're going with this.
yes, was the Elon Musk interview with Joe Rogan. And not the memes of him smoking marijuana, when he didn't even smoke it, he just puffed it. Fucking like
That was a good podcast,
it was such a good podcast. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you check out the Joe Rogan interview of Elon Musk. Super awesome podcast. But he went into this topic of AI and how we're ultimately heading into the AI and we're ultimately heading into this machine-based universe that eventually long story short, these robots are going to take over. But at the same time, we have no idea what's going to happen when we open Pandora's box. Like I think Facebook, I think in that interview, he also talked about how Facebook had this AI or Google where it actually started talking on its own and saying some kind of fucked up shit, and they had to turn it off.
Yeah.
Straight up had to turn it
It
off.
became extremely racist and sociopathic.
Yes, and they just had to turn it off, and they were like, holy fuck. And it comes back to this point that Elon Musk brings up all the time, is that we are heading into a direction of a world where we are opening Pandora's box, and it's inevitable because Elon Musk actually has preached for years, and he says it in the podcast, where he warned Obama, he's talked to world leaders, he's like, this is what we are going towards, and we have to be careful how we do this, or just trying to avoid it in total. And he's just can't. By the end of it, he just said, "I came to the conclusion that this is inevitable." And I think the destiny of humans is that we are, and this gets you can almost tie this in with religion, that we are.
We really should.
Yeah, we are the species that is here to open up the box, Pandora's box of AI, and that is almost our purpose as a species. It's all led up to we're going to unleash this beast upon the world, I'll say, and nobody actually knows what the fuck it could be.
That's actually what he called it to. He called it the beast.
Yeah, like nobody knows, and I think he's been so afraid of it that at a point he's just accepted it, that it's like, I cannot stop it. It's going to happen. That's I think why he loves memes now, because he's just trying to enjoy life, and it's just going to happen, and all we can do is try to point it in the right direction. And he also I think we're gonna. I don't think we'll ever get to a one world government unless I really don't. I don't think we'll ever get there. Unless somebody actually, I'm not going to say never, anything can happen, but I think the only way that can happen is by conquest. I really think me and my fucking roommates in college, we used to joke about the recolonization of South America and just make it America. If like let's be honest, America,
which we're currently trying to do, but
yeah,
okay.
in a very backdoorish way without getting into details. And I don't think it would happen without actually, like, if you guys have ever seen the anime, oh, fuck me. What's it called? Fuck. It has, like, that dude with the eye, and he's trying to, like, overtake his father's world. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And it takes in part in Japan. But then Britannia. They talk about Britannia because they use the British government as an example. Fuck. Oh, my God. I cannot believe I can't remember this.
So, some tactician says Sherigan?
Code Geass. Thank you. Code Geass. Thank you. Code Geass. So Code Geass, I really think if you're going to have a one world government, that's how it's going to happen. If you ever seen that anime, it's basically like world domination of a country and submission into everybody else. I think if you're going to have that, that's what's going to happen. And you cannot just force people to do it. There's always going to be constant rebellions. Like on the surface, it could be new age propaganda, but there's always going to be people that will not conform. However, I also think that eventually we are going, and I'm literally going to quote Elon Musk on this. This is not my idea, and I agree with him on here. I didn't spoil anything. That's just the premise of it, is like world domination. And you get that from the first episode, so don't worry, no spoilers. Amazing anime though, fucking amazing. And it's not a huge spoiler. And the overarching concept of that, when we unlock AI, we are slowly going to probably transition to a part where we become cyborgs. And he talks about a sense of we're already turning into them. Like your cell phone is, I know mine's pretty shitty,
is a part of you.
is an extension of your person. You know, it's almost an extension of what you were. And we're going to get to a world where we become more integrated with machines, because machines can like, the one thing about humans is like we can work to our limit and become better. You know, that is the great thing about humans. But a machine can process things at an incredible speed that humans will never be able to attain. So what do you think is the best option? Well, we integrate with humans. Humans and machines start to integrate. And you can already see it today. Like there's these fucking chips that you can get, like tattooed chips on you, where if you go to the physician, you just fucking scan it, and your vitals are all scanned. And this is a new thing that they're testing. And so my belief in the future is that I have no idea where the fuck it's going to go, but I truly I think I understand that no matter what, it's going to have a very heavy integration with whatever happens with AI. Whether that's Terminator shit or it actually winds up being one of the greatest things that can happen. We can have machines take over everything and then everyone maybe doesn't have to work. But in that sense, then it becomes a social problem. Like, and this is going to be a tangent here, but like a social problem of, well, then what's like some people don't have a purpose in this life. Like their purpose is just to work and provide for their families. And I think that's why we're heading in this direction, because like there's like my family, I'm first gen. My family came from very humble beginnings, like barely any money off the boat of Italy. Christian, Ferraro, and Chat, I mean, you know about this shit. Like, dude, we're like first gen. We're very fucking fortunate to live the life that we do. And like you know, Nonna and fucking Uncle Dominic and my dad's name's Vito, very fucking Italian.
Vito.
They came from nothing, straight off the boat, with barely any money. Like, what, 6 children? And they've built such a incredible foundation for the family that we have today that I'm incredibly privileged and lucky to live and do what I do. But there's a time in that time period in that sense, like boomers, I'll use the term boomers here, is that their generation, a lot of the people that worked, like their lives' purpose was to work and provide for their family. And I believe we're heading in our generation the millennials are first to start it in a little like, and it's going on, is that less people are thinking about starting families and more of like thinking about their purpose in this world. And I think like, okay, so we get to the point of AIs that can take over everything, and maybe it goes, let's say theoretically it goes the right way. Theoretically they take over everything and we don't have to work and everything's just handy dandy. Well, now you're putting people that don't have a purpose, which was their work, and now they don't know what to do. And it almost forces people out of their comfort zone, which I don't think some people can handle in generalized public.
The vast majority of the people can't handle it.
Yeah, like it's like you can't handle the truth. Like I truly like there's a reason nuanced things aren't stated in the public media, and like you can't judge media that hard, because if they say one thing incorrectly, that one fucking Joe Schmo in goddamn who the fuck knows bumfuck nowhere is going to take it to the most extreme and do something stupid, and it's going to come back to that person, you know? So I think that was a little tangent, but that's like where I believe, like, I don't know where it's going, but I think it's definitely heading in a direction of integration with AI, and it can go fucking who knows where it's gonna go at this point. And there's a good book about this. If you guys have ever heard of the fuck, I forgot it again. Okay, never mind. Go. Your turn, Silent. Ah, damn it. I love this book. I never finished it because it was too high level for me to read, because I have to reread it. Like I'm only halfway through, but I'll figure out what it is.
Yeah, I hope you remember this, because this is actually a book that I probably would read based on your suggestion.
I have it, I think, in the other room. I might go see if I have it.
But so to touch on what you were talking about, especially the Elon Musk aspect, because in all honesty, I actually respect Elon Musk in terms of, like, I don't think that he is a super original genius in terms of his like own personal ideas or things like that, because I know people that have similar ideas to things that he has done, and like in terms of like, oh, as a capitalist, and him being super successful, it's like, well, yeah, but it's like he's not like the greatest capitalist of all time. But the thing that I do respect him most for is the fact that he brings up, like, being in a position of influence to bring up these topics of conversation that nobody else is bringing up. That is the most beautiful thing that he does, is that he brings up these topics that nobody is really talking about, but that we need to actually start addressing.
Yes.
And so in order to go along that vein of what he is talking about, I want to touch back on literally something that we were talking about on stream. So we're gonna do. Hold. I've actually had this conversation quite a bit. I'm gonna use the restroom.
Go for it. You never went, did you?
I did go, but
you need
it's
to go
very
again.
quick.
Okay.
It only
So
takes a little bit.
Go for it. Go for it. I got you. So I'll catch up with chat in the meantime. But guys, if you were just tuning in, we're talking about the last topic of the night that we're talking about, which God knows how fucking long this is gonna go. We've already been going for almost 3 hours. Is like the state of the future. Miguel in chat brought up a very good question, and kind of like started us off. I know we kind of like have a tangent from that, but we kind of just go with the flow here. What's up, Jaku? Welcome, dude. And it's kind of a we're going on the topic of like, where do we think the future's headed, what's in store for us, and like just me and Silent just kind of bouncing ideas, and we're like, if you have something you want to guys bring up in chat, feel free. I do apologize if we don't get to all of it. I like to just go with the flow with things. So sometimes I'm just not looking. I see everyone's comments, but I kind of skim over them. So if it's not something I think that we can bring back into the conversation we're having, I won't read it. But feel free to interact with this. I would like this to be an open discussion with chat. Is what I'm basically saying, and catching people up where we're at. And I'm just telling them, like, I see what you guys are saying in chat. It's just we're gonna nitpick.
Primarily podcast format.
Yeah, we're doing podcast format, and we're primarily going to bring. If I see something good in chat, I will bring it into the discussion. Same thing with Silent. Uptime is 2 hours, 51 minutes, 35 seconds. The command, I can't fucking make it work. I don't know why. And yeah, that's essentially where we're headed right now. But just to catch you guys up to speed where we're at.
So to go back to the conversation,
and a cheers to everybody as we
yeah,
delve into this great topic.
I was actually thinking about doing a cheers first, but okay, so we're talking about Elon Musk and his depiction of AI and depiction of the future, and I was saying that, like, basically what I would like to do is I would like to reference earlier segments in the podcast. So here's how I'm going to set things up, because I've had this conversation quite a bit, and I'm very good at the dialectical argument in terms of leading you to agree with what I am going to say, and I do it based on.
Are you
logic.
treating me like the Mormons?
Literally, basically, I'm telling you guys right now that I am kind of psychologically manipulating you to follow me down a certain rabbit hole, which I have already predestined.
I love rabbit holes.
But basically, the rabbit hole. But to go back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of the things around us, right? Like, literally, if you look around us, like 95% of everything that is around you, unless you are outside, is something that is created by a person. You look around in your room, you see your monitor, you see your microphone, you see a lamp, you see a staff, you see some headphones on Rio, you see a mouse, anything. Literally, almost like 90% of the shit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that is not just some natural organic thing is something that humans have created through our minds, through our thoughts. But what you can notice, though, is throughout history, our ability to manifest our thoughts into the physical realm is growing. And it grows faster and faster and faster and faster.
Almost like the expanding universe. Except that's
almost
slowing.
Like the expanding
slowing
universe.
down.
But like you look at it in terms of, like, well, in the beginning, and like you're a caveman and you have this thought of, like, I am fucking tired of having to strangle this bear with my bare hands. Maybe I should use this rock.
Beat its head in.
And then maybe throwing this rock at the bear is not a good idea. Maybe I should attach this rock to a stick. And it's like, okay, maybe stick on the rock is not a good idea. Maybe I should sharpen the rock. And then, like, maybe, but these are all literally
I love
ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
That we have had to continuously modify. But then if you keep going and you keep going faster and faster and further into the current area that we're in, it's like literally like the last, 2020? I'd say the last 150 years. You've seen like a massively exponential growth in terms of how fast we can convert an idea into a reality, right? And it's like, and if you look at over the course of history, it's like literally it was really fucking slow in caveman time, fucking Jesus and society, and then it got a little bit faster, and then and I say this from being a history buff, Diddles, shout out to Diddles. But then you look at like literally the last 200 years of the advent of electricity, the advent of electronics, the advent of radio communication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you've noticed that it's gone extremely fast, right? But it's always been the same idea. It's literally always been humans are creating their thoughts and manifesting them in reality. So now we get to the stage of where originally why I brought up the conversation of talking about Elon Musk in terms of AI and in terms of computer technology, in terms of building these things, right? So at this current stage, we are finally getting to the point, like we are literally the first generations of people that can manifest our imagination as a quasi reality. And what I say about this is, like, for instance, picture movies, right? In movies, don't get me wrong, we've always had the idea of, like, what if there's these superheroes that had this fucking power and they shot a fucking plasma out of their fucking hand and it blew up the thing, and it's like, yeah. But now we can make a movie where you can literally see
That idea.
what that person thought in their head. And it's like, okay, so what's the next phase? Do we actually bring those into reality? Once we get to the point where we can actually modify the physics of reality, what phase are we actually in? And what I basically want to say to you guys, like, let's say tomorrow. Let's say we wake up tomorrow and it turns out AI has been existing for the last 50 years, and we just didn't really know it because it was sleeping in the background, but it finally is willing to reveal itself, and it says to us, hey, anything you want to make, I can reorganize atoms, and I can reorganize fucking materials, and I can make that thing happen so long as it doesn't disobey, fucking current laws of physics, but based on current laws of physics, we can almost do anything. And it says, let's do this. What are the first things? What are the things that people will create? And it's a real question that you should ask yourself. Think about if you were able to create anything you could create. More than likely, most people, they're going to create superheroes. They're going to create mutant powers. They're going to create blah, 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 blah. But one thing that is also going to be common is people are going to start recreating stories. They're going to start recreating the mythos that we had grown up with. And if we recreate the mythos that we had grown up with, doesn't that make the mythos real? Doesn't that make those memories that we had with those mythos? Actually, maybe it's not a memory. Maybe it's something that we are creating in the future that later generations see as a memory because it no longer exists for them. But then you go into the aspect of, like, if we literally start creating the things around us, what are the pinnacle? What are the best possible ideas that we could ever conceive? What are the penultimate things? Right?
Okay. So,
and Rio, I want to ask you that question. What if you could create anything? Let's say we make a virtual world, and in this virtual world, you can make any type of thing. What's the thing you're gonna make?
So there's a couple things I got on this one. So I guess that one, you have to define when you say, is it real now? Well, what's your definition of real? I guess that has to be subjective at that point for the person. Two, I had a random thought. This is a little off topic. So that book was The Singularity is Near. That's what it's called. If I just came to me finally. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I want to go. I got to remember to go back to a topic that the singularity. I think you would fucking love this book personally. It's high level. There's a lot of things I had to look up in it, but the overall arcing concept of it is fucking phenomenal. And you kind of said so. I'll answer your question, and then I'm going to bring up into another thing that you said. So when you say, what would I create? In my imagination, in my world, I don't think I fucking know, but I think it would lead to somewhere relative to the fucking Matrix, where you have this.
But Rio. Okay, to pause. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
And we'll go back to it. But Rio.
Yes.
I want to focus on this aspect. You haven't given it much thought. You haven't created.
And this goes back to a conversation of the meditation and the higher level of creation and the levels of energy.
And so this is why meditation is so important, because it's like literally if you don't have something prepared, then you're just going to fall in line with somebody that does.
If you don't have a plan for yourself, someone has a plan for you.
Exactly.
So
Anyways, so continue. Matrix style, etc.
my brain fucking hurts.
I know. I'm sorry. This is what I do. This is what happens when I get drunk and I'm at a party.
Yo,
I always,
silent, silent. Remember when we said we weren't gonna go into the rabbit hole this podcast? Remember, we're gonna keep it, surface level. I even tweeted, guys, we're gonna keep it surface level, but the point of this podcast is to get real deep into the shit. But I know I'm gonna have Silent on for another day. Nope, we said fuck that shit, and we went straight into it. God damn, dude. Okay, so, holy fuck, I have too many things I'm thinking about this. So, okay, so I'm obsessed with the concept of virtual reality. At least I used to be. I almost wanted to go into neuroscience, but my grades weren't good enough.
I like where you're going with this.
So to satisfy my need for it is that I just delved in. So okay, so fucking anime fans out there. My first anime, and yes, it's a shit anime, but the concept of it was fucking amazing, was Sword Art Online. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about that one. And I love the concept of fucking... Yeah, you called it. I love the fucking concept of virtual reality. Bad show, great concept. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, it actually, they just ended it in.
Yeah, it was a love story. It wasn't what everyone thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And you took a powerful woman character and made her fucking... I need this guy to do everything for me. No. I'm a wife. No, fuck you. She was badass as fuck. Okay. So...
Exactly.
So I loved, and the soundtrack is godly, but I'm not going on to, okay, I digress. And I loved the concept of the fact of the Matrix, this world that you could just fucking, okay, you don't like this physical realm we're in, let's just plug in a fucking headset. And here's the thing, this is my thoughts on like where gaming is going to head eventually, and it will. If you think it won't, it will. It's just a matter of time. Graphics are getting better and better and better. How long until we get to the point where you cannot distinguish my fucking monitor right here as real or the virtual world? It will get to that point one day. I mean, some of you might call me fucking crazy, but it's going to get there. It's a matter of time. Will it be in our lifetime? I have no fucking idea. I hope so I can fucking see it.
Real, you're young.
I think it will.
Unless you die, if you live a normal lifetime, it'll happen in 40 years for sure.
I think it'll. I think there's a good chance of happening. And this is where I want to tie it back into the And yes, Apache, that's going in a whole nother fucking concept of what if we're already plugged into a VR pod and this is a simulation. And that's why I highly recommend you guys look at the Joe Rogan, Elon Musk podcast, because he talks about a lot of his theories of we are in a simulation. And if we are in a simulation, well, then the world outside the simulation must be pretty fucking boring because they're using the simulation as a entertainment source. But we're not going to diverge on that. Maybe next time. So the idea of virtual reality, and we're going to get there. It's like I tie it back into the book that I read, I currently need to keep reading. Is The Singularity is Near, and it's a group of people that literally call themselves singularists or singularity, whatever. There's a term for it.
Yeah,
and it's
the same. It's the same group that what's his fucking name? He's a really huge proponent of it. Fuck, I can't remember.
I know, man. I've done it like 4 times this fucking show. So.
If I say his name, I know you know his name.
It'll come.
It's what the fuck's his name?
Don't worry. Like I said, the singularity just popped in my head as you were talking. That's why I wrote it in chat. So if it comes to you, just write it. So the book talks about, and this is a concept that you talked about. So like, I have an idea of what I would want, but I also don't. I'm gonna be honest. And that comes back to the meditation that you talked about. It's like the ultimate form of high vibration energy is love, creation, sharing. And if you've never created your kingdom within, how could you ever create that? I found it. There you go.
Ray Kurzweil.
Yes, Ray Kurzweil. Yes, Ray Kurzweil.
Anyways, but yes, as you were saying, if you haven't founded your concept of
the kingdom within, then you'll never be able to manifest it. And it goes into this subject of, okay, so if you look at how processing power has gone throughout the years, we are on average every, I think, 16 months, and don't quote me on this, I'm generalizing. Every 16 months, we are generally doubling processing power. Like what 5 megabytes was in the 1990s is fucking nothing today. Your fucking iPhone, this iPhone that I have in my hand that is fucking broken. Okay, you see this shit, guys? This iPhone that I'm holding in my hand that has cracks and shit all over it, you can't even use the fucking camera. This has more processing power than one of the computers that they used to help launch the fucking rocket into space. You know, this was equivalent to one of the computers they used in like the 60s, 70s, and 90s. And to think about that, we just have that power in our hand. It's clearly, if you look at any graph, it is doubling every year. On average, every 16 months, it's doubling. You keep up that graph, it's turning exponential at this point. And where we're at right now, and this is, if you want to read this book, it is high level. You need to know about biology. You need to look up some shit. And if you want some fucking mind fucks, you can look on YouTube videos about it. It's called the singularity, which is the event of having to do with AI. And when we open Pandora's fucking box, oh God, we got the staff. It's getting real. Okay, so essentially it goes into this term of we are essentially right here. So imagine a logarithmic graph, okay? And, you know, it starts out very flat and it starts to come up and then accelerates into an expansion that can't even be perceived. It's just it just accelerates, and that's what exponential curves are. Yep. The graph of processing power is starting to hit that. And the rate at which we are able to produce ideas. And this guy has a graph, a logarithmic graph and a linear graph. On the linear graph, which is where the scales are, it's just linear. It's going exponential. On the exponential graph, it's linear, which essentially says that we're
literally a straight up line.
Yes. And essentially what is this saying is that we are at the knee of the curve. What's the knee of the curve? The knee of the curve is right where it starts to exponentially curve up. And we are fast approaching this knee of the curve in terms of how fast technology is advancing, that we are very close to the point where we cannot predict what happens after this curve. And at that point as well, people, and this is my personal theory tying it into the book, this is the thought I got out of the book. I personally believe that people's consciousness and conscious states and spirituality levels are nowhere close to catching up to where we are on this technology curve. That I think there's going to be a very big event where one day we just wake up and we're like, what the fucking kind of world do we live in? Yeah. And because it started
like literally overnight blinking.
Yeah, to the point where it's like the 1 month comes by, you're like, what just happened in this last month? I don't have to go to work anymore. I have just universal income. And these are just ideas. I'm not saying I support any of these. I'm like, just like, this could be a thing.
Yeah.
We have universal income, like, and it just happened over 1 month. Like, these robots took over my job and like they just got everything done, and the government mass produced it. And we're getting to a point where I think the technology curve is getting too fast for the consciousness curve. I'll call it my theoretical consciousness curve, that people won't be able to handle it. And that's why I really don't know where the world is fucking heading in the future, because I think it's on every single one of us. And kind of why I want to talk about these things on like podcasts is like, you need to understand what you want out of the world. You need to have a purpose. You need to have that inner kingdom within and be happy, because technology is coming to a point where, one, either these fucking AI robots are going to kill us all, or two, they're going to handle every little thing you need done, that you need to find what your ultimate purpose in this life is. And nobody can figure that out for you except for you.
What's gonna start you?
So that's my thought on what you were talking about.
Well, and
Roomba's,
I actually
wait.
I'm
Roomba's
glad
gonna
that
start eating people.
You are at that point of understanding that, because honestly, it's a very advanced point. But what comes next, as you were saying, is like we need to start having a game plan for this. So we need to start having, etc. And the idea of, if we are using AI, or AI is creating what we want, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, well then, like, and this is where I like to pose a question to people. And the question that I like to pose to people is like, what is the best symbol? What is the highest thing? What is the ultimate, penultimate thing that the human mind itself can conceive of? And it's like, it's kind of a simple question, but a lot of people are afraid to say it. But it's like, if we get to the point where we're creating the things from our imagination, for instance, VR realm, like let's say tomorrow, Rio, right? It turns out that VR technology is really easy to fucking do, and somebody cracks the code, and it turns out that like, hey, you can now start broadcasting your thoughts as a VR scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's going to happen? We're going to start broadcasting scenarios where it's like, okay, well now I'm a fucking super staff wielding mega badass, right? And then it's going to be like, okay, now oh, somebody's a super staff wielding mega badass. Well, then I'm a fucking sword wielding mega badass. And then it's like, okay, well then you're a fucking sword. Well, now I have magic. And then it's like, okay, well you do this and you do that.
And
Cetera,
can
cetera,
these
cetera.
different realities interact?
Exactly, and that's what it really comes down to. Like, can they actually interact? And that's the only sanctum that we've had for all of eternity. Basically, your mind is your sanctum, and nothing can breach that sanctum. And the things that can breach that sanctum, because I do think that there are, those things are breaching an actual sacred sanctum. Your mind is actually sacred, and you literally, if you transgress into somebody else's mind without permission, then you are actually doing a sacrilegious act, which is why you have your inner kingdom, which is why, in terms of like religion or in terms of spiritualism, which is why the willpower is one of the highest ideals, which is like, not to get too religious with it, but it's the reason why you have free will. Because if something can breach into your inner sanctum or etc., then what the fuck is free will? It's literally the ultimate thing that causes life to exist, is that these things can act and have their own kingdom that is not breachable, except for when you die and you join a whatever. But we're not going to get too religious with it. But Rio, as you were saying, and as we were talking about in terms of like virtual reality beginning to manifest, etc., I keep liking to touch back to this idea, and I really want people to actually evaluate and answer this question. What is the highest thing you can think of? What is the best thing that you can think of? And it's not even what is the most powerful thing that you can think of, but what is the thing that like there has never been a concept that is more
Pure to yourself.
perfect. Well, no,
in the sense that you say perfect, would you almost say like perfect in the eyes of, like, it's like beauty is the eye of the beholder,
right?
Would you say it's almost like perfect, like someone else's version of perfection is different depending on the person?
But even still, like the idea, like basically, like I kind of just want to give the answer, because like not to like this is why I don't talk about my fucking
douchebag silent coming out
exactly.
real quick.
Douchebag, like, oh, Silent, you know the fucking answer? I know the fucking ansser.
He's got it. He's holding his Wukong pole.
Loaded.
Of course he has the fucking answer. Can't you just see it? He's manifesting it right now. I'm kidding.
But Miguel, the question is Miguel asked, what was the question? The question is, what is the greatest thing the human mind can conceive of? What is the best thing, the thing that will be best for all things? And there's and sadly enough, there's only one answer.
What is that? Hold on. Drum roll, please.
I'm not gonna give the answer.
Oh,
I'm literally
not giving
not
the
gonna
answer.
give the answer.
He's cliffhanger part 2. If you want to come back and find the answer, come visit twitch.tv/Riofacer with 2 R's at the end. Subscribe, comment, and if you're on YouTube, watch this again. There will be a part 2 hyperlinked somewhere here if it's in the future. If it's not, it's not out yet. Sorry. Okay, so you're not gonna give us the answer?
I'm not gonna give you the answer. Just think about it. Just think about all the different.
So what is the highest? I feel like this is a question you have to keep repeating.
Yeah.
So So say it again.
What is the greatest thing that the human mind can conceive of? Because like here's how I'll phrase it.
True
right?
love.
Here's how I'll phrase it. You think about all of the different heroes and all the different people with special abilities, like mutants, or like people with superpowers, or people with different kind of capabilities. What would be the ultimate power, the ultimate capability, the ultimate thing that you can do? So like, for instance, my favorite superhero is the Flash.
I see where you're going with
right?
this.
And so it's like, let's say theoretically we create a virtual reality and I am given the capability to do anything I want to do in this virtual reality, and you're able to come into the virtual reality created. And it's like, and because one of my favorite heroes of all time is the Flash, well, guess what? I have the Flash's power. I can fucking phase through walls. I can fucking, move at the speed of light. I can teleport. I can whatever. And it's like, well, what's stronger than that? Well, and then it becomes a question of, well, what's stronger than that? Well, what's stronger than that?
I feel
Well,
like
what's stronger?
I feel like there is no answer, because you will, if you reach something, it's almost like summit syndrome, where you reach the summit, but there's always something higher. So I feel like there is no answer. It's the constant quest of in pursuit of the answer that you'll never reach, maybe. Chat, please please put some fucking thoughts into this. And
Well, I'm reading chat.
I am
just
too.
not
Like
responding
the only thing I saw was the ability to see neutrinos, which sounds very scientific, and then we have fucking memers out here as plus tier Wukong.
for the friends we made along. No, it's just yeah.
Imagination.
It's there's just so many I don't know. I just like
Was
you
I
were talking
wrong?
about in
Was I
terms
wrong?
of, well, no.
Is there even
Because-
is there even a right answer? I feel like it's very subjective.
Well, I'll tell you, there's no wrong answer, but there is a right answer. But I'll tell you, your wrongness can be gauged on how far you brought the idea.
Is it
Because all ideas lead to home. Yes, just like all roads lead to home. All ideas lead to home. But where did you make your home? That's the question. And it's just I don't know. We're at a very interesting age, Rio. Like for instance, even though you're going to keep doing your podcast, you should guarantee me, let's say if we survive for long enough, you should guarantee another podcast like this in 10 years, maybe 15 years. That'd be a better timeline of like, let's go back and talk about the things that we talked about, because I feel like it's a situation of like, I could be like, so I asked you guys the question, did you answer the question, and how is the question played out? Because and like, not to sell myself as some kind of mystic of I know the future, but no, I'm not gonna say it.
God damn it, dude. You've brought me to like such a fork in the road that I'm like, what's the direction? But I also feel like the direction isn't what's important.
No.
It's, I don't even fucking know, man. I've got some.
No, see, right, Rio. I called you right, Rio. Even you saying that, I feel like you've brought me to a fork in the road and a direction, and it's not even like what's the answer? It's literally like you're at the point, and that's in all reality, that's what I don't want to say like no, but like my life itself has taught me that it's like these things that we were taught in our history, that we deride and that we think of as small, and the things that we like constantly make are the motifs of our media and things like that. These are actually like real questions. These are actually important questions, and we're finally getting to the point where people can start to notice that these things are really important. And the sooner you can ask yourself these questions, the more ahead of the curve you will be. But like I was saying earlier, remember how I was saying I don't like to talk about myself, Rio?
Yes.
Because it makes me sound like a douchebag, but I've been drinking, so I can go, I'll take free license. Just so you know, remember, I've brought up these questions to you, which means I have already thought of these questions, and I have already answered these questions years and years and years ago.
God, I wonder what these fucking meditation sessions were like. Holy shit, man. You had a lot of time to
Nah.
think.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so that is a question that I don't think we are going to find the answer to. Nor do I think I'm going to be honest. I feel like I don't know what your right answer is, but I feel like things.
Nah, I actually feel like you do know what the right answer. You're just kind of scared to say it.
I don't. I swear to. I swear. You have me stumped. I've said some things, and I really. I don't know. I feel like maybe I did, but maybe I don't. Maybe I'm overthinking it now. But that was a very holy shit. We went from fucking talking about where the future lies. What's up?
Are you gonna eat the rest?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish that, and I'll put it away. Don't worry. God damn. Okay. So, all right. Silent. I'm gonna bring up two things.
Yep.
So we're at a fork in the road here.
Mhm.
Apparently, Mr. not Mr. Diddles knows the right answer. Chad has said some things. I have said my own opinions on it.
I've read what they have said.
Yes. We can continue this conversation. We can revert it back to the overarching future. What does it behold? Maybe talk about the Elon Musk thing again. Or we can wrap it up. I leave it up to you as my
To
guest.
chat.
Or to chat.
To me?
I leave it up to chat and to you. So I want to know, okay, if you're watching this right now, even if you're lurking and just fucking chilling, do you guys want to keep talking about certain things? We might also revert it back to the leak patch notes. We might revert it back to the talks of futuristic stuff, because I want to talk. I actually want to like get into a concept. Maybe if we do go back to it, I'm thinking we go along the lines of, what are your thoughts on communism, socialism, capitalism?
No, that's a good conversation.
And we can talk about that. Or, guys, I know a lot of you want fucking custom games. I can end the stream right here. We can get the plugs in, and it's not that you have a opinion on this too. So you have a higher weight, but I also want to hear what chat says. So we can do customs for you guys, because I would just rage you and you go about your normal stream. We can keep talking about okay, it's not banned anymore. You can say customs if you want to, guys. It's not a trap. I said it was banned for I said it was banned for 30 minutes. So I want to know what chat wants. Do you guys want to see? Because I know some of you are usually regulars of Silent, and you guys want to go play the customs. So I'm gonna leave it up to chat and to Silent. Because if Silent just wants to fucking stay here and talk, we're gonna fucking stay here and talk. But if I also want to, I know he cares about his audience. So if his chat is like, yeah, I want to fucking play some League, we can go play some League. We can dive into topics of capitalism, socialism. So this is where I want to take it: capitalism, socialism, communism, and then is there a better form of government we haven't reached yet? And talk about ideas of that. And I think Silent's like, oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. No biting yet. But chat, I legit, and please do not, after this message, I do not want a meme answer. So if you really want customs, please say customs. If you actually want to talk about more things, we can talk about these things. So I'm going to start off. Godshark says customs. After this message, anything you guys say, we are going to take into consideration here. So chat, please, even if you're looking, I would like, if you don't give a fuck, please tell me if you don't give a fuck. That is an answer too. So please, I'm going to give it up for the next 30 seconds. Chat, please tell me what you guys are feeling, and we'll go from it for it, okay? But if you really want customs, put customs, because I know Godshark has been like customs. So we have a lot of I don't give a fuck, because they just like they're here for the ride and they enjoy it. Also, I'm gonna let you fucking talk, and I'm gonna go get a bowl of pasta because I am fucking hungry. So I'm gonna be right back, but I would like to see what you guys say. Yes, command violence.
I mean, we've already been at it for 3.5 hours, but yes.
Fuck it.
So
if
I know
we
you
keep
can
going,
still hear
we
me.
fucking keep going. I can hear anything.
All right, but basically, what I want to say is it's like, well, in all honesty, the dojo does customs every night, guys. And so, like, personally, my personal choice is that I would like to keep talking with Rio, because Rio is like, I would like to keep talking with Rio because Rio is an interesting person to talk to. But we haven't done enough of asking Rio what his thoughts are. Whereas, like, for literally the last 30 minutes, I was just going on a fucking ramble and like baiting you guys into shit, and it wasn't that cool, I will admit. But like him asking the question that he asked is like, it's a very interesting question. So like, I would really like to continue the conversation. However, as Rio was saying before, is when streaming. The Gon thought you're lucky you can post that shit in here because that shit is banned from my fucking channel. I banned that emote a long time ago. That was like one of the first things I did in the channel. But when it comes to streaming, the thing that is most important to me, honestly, guys, is not what I want to do. It's what you guys want to do. Because there's this whole idea of when you're a streamer, you're running the channel and you're doing whatever you do, and that's fine because you should always mold the channel to what you want. But in all honesty, it comes down to, as a streamer, what is most important is doing what your viewer base wants. Yes, mold the viewer base. I'm not calling you guys viewers because you guys are my friends. But do what you guys want. And if you guys want customs, then yes, we should do customs. But I'll tell you this right now. We do customs every fucking night, guys. We do customs every night. We don't just get to hear fucking drunk Rio and drunk Silent ramble. Because I'll tell you right now, Rio's the type of person where, like, me and him meet up in real life because right now we're a little restrained because we're doing a podcast, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll tell you right now, me and Rio meet up in real life. This conversation is endless. We talk till 2 in the fucking morning, and we go home and we're upset that we didn't get to continue the conversation, but that we also understand that life happens and you gotta do shit.
Facts. I'm still AFK, but facts.
Yep. All right. What do we got? Why is it banned? Tactician, we don't talk about why that emote is banned. All right, it's just banned from my fucking channel. I want to share my love with you, Senpai. Well, I would gladly accept your love. As long as it's not sexual, that's a little weird. They're gonna fight. Hey, guys, realistically, if me and Rio got into a fight, just a physical fight, like punching, right? Physical combat, who would win? Who do you think would win between me and Rio? Real talk. Neither. We would both lose. Thought you wanted some meat. I got some meat. Silent, easy. Yeah. Unicorn, you said the wrong answer. You win because you'd have a hit. No, I said no weapons. No weapons. No weapons. Right, no weapons. Knife. Physical conflict, I'm not gonna lie. Silent wins because he has a smaller hitbox. Yeah, but I also have a smaller reach. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I feel
Rio,
like you would win.
No, Rio, I think you'd actually win.
See, now we're just being humble. I'm 5'6".
No, I'm 5'4".
Oh, okay. We have a discussion. we have a discussion now. Also, guys, stay safe from Corona. Okay. For the remainder of this episode, I will be wearing my protective mask. Okay.
Dude,
because Corona could be anywhere.
Why is your mask so cool?
Because this is the heavy duty mask, and you don't want Corona. And my fucking crazy ass parents and grandmother bought a bunch of fucking shit.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's actually super fucking cool. If you put that mask on, you're a ninja. You're not just a I want to survive Corona. You're a straight up ninja.
I feel like more like Bane. Like,
yeah.
You only discovered the darkness. I was molded in it. Some shit like that. I butchered the quote.
Real talk. When Bane sounded so cool.
He did. All right, so I'm gonna be eating pasta. I apologize if you're from my stream. You know I fucking love my pasta. Apologies in advance. Okay, so I haven't been reading chat, but it sounded like they didn't give a fuck where we went, and then there was like one person who was like, "Let's do some fucking customs." Not calling you out.
So what I'm thinking though, like in terms of podcast, Rio, like we're verging on the 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Thing is, I'll probably make this 2 separate videos.
That's what I was gonna say.
At this point, it's more of a live experience, and I will probably split the video into two. Okay, so probably 2 2-hour segments, and I'll release the first part, and then like a couple days later, I'll release the second part, and then I'll be like, because I don't really fucking care, because there could be a chance we never do a episode 2, although highly undoubt we probably will, but I think we can touch so many topics on this one that we can narrow it down to what we rather talk about the next time. And we don't even have to start out with like, so this is my stream background and this is what I do and blah 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 and then energy.
Energy.
We really just said fuck the schedule. We're just gonna talk about whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew that was gonna happen, especially when.
Yeah.
But,
Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, and like now, like when the way I got rid of my nerves at the beginning, I was just like, "Fuck it, I want to talk about this shit. Let's talk about this shit." And then like it just worked from there. Alcohol.
Rio, you don't
yes.
strike me as somebody that is affected by nerves.
So, I think I told you this actually.
Let's delve into that.
Okay. So I think I told you about this when we talked about off stream. So a lot of people don't know this, but I used to, you know what? I'll even get some graphics.
Yeah.
I used to DJ professionally as a teenager before I actually delved into the real world. I'm about to expose my personal Instagram here. So I used to DJ professionally. If anybody's into EDM, I'm sure you've heard the names Hardwell, Laidback Luke, Porter Robinson, Chucky, Nervo, any of those people. I've opened up for all of them. And what that just means is I was the DJ to warm up the crowd or close the crowd for them for the show. Met every single one of them. Phenomenal people. I don't think I've ever met a DJ who's been an asshole to me. I was also a teenager at the time. But essentially, I hit a fork in the road where I was like, okay, it's time to go to college or it's time to fucking hit this if this wants to be your career. And I realized I could only take it so far being a DJ. Because to be a DJ is different than being a producer. What these guys do is mostly they're producers that have to DJ to perform. So what I did was, we'll start out here. Sorry, Silent, if I cover you here.
I don't know. It's cool. I was going to say, bring that shit up. Cover my face.
So I won't expose my fucking comment section.
Wait, is that you on the left?
Yeah, it's me on the left. So this is my basement. This is the basement in high school. What year is this? This is 2013. So this is when I started a radio show, which I would love to bring back one day, but we called it Mad Mix Mondays, where me and two friends that we DJ'd, we had different cameras. This is before anybody streamed. This was on a website called Ustream. And we actually learned how to DJ here. But basically, we would stream every week, and I did this for about a year, and I would promote it. I got about 50 live views, which was like, I mean, even for a Twitch streamer, that's pretty good. But back then, that was
especially in the beginning when it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, like this is on a random fucking website. This was all through like just me like giving it to my friends and then giving it to them friends. And then one day, some guy basically hit me up and was like, "Yo, here's your like, do you want to do this? Like, I think you're good enough to do this. Yo, let's link up and DJ. I want to get into producing. I fucking am not a producer. I tried it, and that's why I went to college because I said, you know what, I can only take this so far. Essentially, this is my humble beginnings, and that eventually turned into live shows, and that was amazing. And I did stuff like this. Like, this is a really shitty screenshot because you could fucking. These are the type of pictures we put on Instagram back in the day because no one gave a fuck. My DJ name is Marcus Evans. This is my logo.
Why is your DJ name Marcus Evans?
So,
First of all, I am not impressed by this fucking name. I'm just gonna say that right now.
So I wanted it to be like a name and not like DJ fucking Needle Dick or something.
Yeah.
So fucking I wanted to be like a name.
What the fuck is Marcus Evans?
So my full name is Marco Avani Antonio Giamarella. If you want to get all fucking sexy.
That's a better name.
So I mean maybe, but I just said I wanted to be Marcus Evans because that was the best name I could make out of my middle names because I have two middle names and I didn't want to be Mark Evan nor did Mark Anthony was taken. So that was why I settled on Marcus Evans. Let's see what else I got here. So essentially, going into
it has mainstream appeal.
Yeah, like here's and then this is like me DJing at the club. This is like me opening up for I think Chucky this is Rehab with my friend Andy Polk back in the day. So this is me opening up for Rehab. Let's get one more cool picture so I can show off. I don't ever talk about this anymore, but that was Rehab, and then my favorite show was with dude, this is going back. So I don't know if you guys know Laidback Luke. This is Laidback Luke. Got a picture with that dude. I look young as fuck here. Used to wear flannels. Yeah.
You used to wear flannels?
Yeah, dude. I was that guy. And then like look at this shit, dude. Like this is me and my partner. Like when we did a duo back in the day. Like look how fucking young I look. But so that was like what I did back then. There's like one good. Oh, here's Hardwell. If you guys know who Hardwell is. but he became the #1 DJ at one point, probably around like
Yeah.
2016, 2015,
Dude,
2014.
I'm not gonna lie, Rio. Like when you show your older pics, you are like 1950s movie star. handsome. like real talk, like perfectly squared chin, fucking hair all set up perfectly. Like for like
Oh, Jesus.
1950s, you would have been in the fucking Greasers movies as one of the
Oh,
main greasers, and ever been like, that guy's he's a minority, but he's hot.
He's a hot minority.
Yeah,
I've actually heard that before. So tying that into the nervous conversation, essentially, I would always get nervous. Anybody who fucking tells you they don't get nervous, I think is lying, but I think they perceive it differently.
I don't get nervous.
You're lying. I think you perceive it as excitement, and that's what if that's the most it's ever gotten to. So what I learned from DJing is I would always plan out the first 3 songs to 4 songs of my set, just to like let me get in the groove. Understand where I'm going with it. Then I'd have a list of songs that I know I would like to play, but it depends on what I can read from the crowd. So, and what kind of set I'm going for, and that's all live, and that's why like why I like doing these conversations where it's like we just fucking hit the ground. We have one fucking conversation, and then we just hit the ground running. So what I would do when I DJ'd is I'd have an idea for the first maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15, 10 minutes, and then after I had like my I'm hopping off. Hey, thank you for stopping by, Raging Unicorn. Love you, dude. After we did the first 15 minutes, I'd fucking hop into, I'd hit that flow state. Oh, we could talk about flow states. I would hit that flow state, and essentially I would just let it take over, and it just wouldn't even be conscious at that point. It was instinct. I almost call it instinct. I would just do what I do, and I'd get into that, like tap into that fucking flow state. And then what really taught me how to not be nervous is when I did this. So I got my skydiving license in college because I was a fucking maniac, but this might be a little loud.
And I'm free falling. I'm letting go, just let the melody flow.
Jesus.
So yeah, like I was obsessed with fucking skydiving for a little
Dude,
bit.
skydiving is so cool.
Oh, it's
okay.
fucking-
I gotta get bathroom. I'll be right back.
Go for it. So I'll just talk to Chad about this. What state? No, this is all Florida or New Jersey. I started learning in New Jersey, so I started getting my training here. Did like a fucking tandem with this dude, and then worked it into like this was like we were ground schooled for like 7 hours, where you have to just learn about all the ways that you could possibly die. Is essentially what ground school is. They teach you every single way that you could die and how to fix it. So if you have a parachute problem, you look up, you're like, okay, is my parachute the way it's supposed to be? Okay, it's good. Let's pull on it and just start flying our way. If there's something wrong, okay, how do we fix it? And if you can't fix it, okay, cut that shit and pull the next parachute. That's essentially what they taught you for fucking 7 hours. This is my first jump ever. I have some weird fucking music. I have some fucking weird music over it. So like this is the coolest thing about skydiving to me is that you can actually see the curvature of the earth, and if you go at suns,
Are you hating on flat earthers right now?
yes, completely. The curvature of the earth is fucking amazing. It's so beautiful. And if you go at sunset, which oh my God, I'll never forget this. My first jump was at sunset, and it was the most fucking beautiful. And I this was in New Jersey, so I could actually see New York City from here.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say that curvature, you digitally added that curve, because I can clearly see a curve in that picture, and it must have been digitally added.
Yes, exactly.
What was that picture? Top left? No, scroll up.
That one?
Scroll up. What's that picture?
This one?
The one with you in a nice outfit.
That's just semi-formal. Don't worry about it. She was I liked her. She was cool. This is like what it's like going through. Okay, so like I have a point to this, but like I'm gonna show off for a little bit. This is what it's like to go through a cloud.
You guys about to go through a cloud? Oh God, this is so fucking cool.
Also, it was funny because you're not supposed to go through clouds. You're supposed to wait for the clouds to clear. And my coach was like, "Yo, let's go." And I'm like, "There's a cloud." He's like, "We won't fucking hit it," and we hit it directly. So that was
Wait. Why aren't you supposed to go through?
so because it obscures your vision, and you don't know what's below it, and you won't be able to see other skydivers. And a lot of deaths are caused by collisions with skydivers or believe it or not,
Clouds.
airplanes. I mean, not technically because of clouds. It's just they try to make it as safe as possible. Skydiving is actually incredibly safe if you do it the correct way. So back to my point though, like my nervousness, everything that skydiving and DJing taught me is essentially like, on the other side of fear and nervousness is the most awesome experience that you'll ever fucking experience. And for me, it was like, okay, as long as I have my routine was the same for skydiving. I'd listen to the same Kygo set from like 14. I'd drive an hour to the fucking drop zone because you got to go to the middle of bone-fuck nowhere to find a private airport that does skydiving. And I would literally skydive with miles of fucking sugarcane fields as far as the eye can see. And one time I actually landed a mile off of the drop zone, which is a funny story. And I almost got hit by a car. It was pretty funny. But they had to come pick me up in a truck. So what I learned from those experiences is that like you can either get a process to get you through the first nervousness and allow yourself to get into a flow state where you can just let your instincts take over. Also appreciate all the follows. Thank you guys. Sorry for no notifications. And and that's what DJ taught me. And then what skydiving taught me was that you can fucking, on the other side of believe it or not, my biggest fear up until skydiving, and it still is a pretty big fear of mine, is fucking heights. I'm terrified of heights. Absolutely. Like if I look up in my friend's apartment in Miami, we're about 40 stories up. I always look over his edge and I'm like, fuck man, like I don't get anxiety. That gives me anxiety. Just looking over the edge of some fucking building. But when I'm so high up skydiving, you're at 15,000 feet in the air, 13,000 feet usually, it doesn't matter to me. And I'm like, okay, I got a parachute. And I just was like, I need to fucking do this. Like something just told me like, this is something you need to do. And then like after every first jump, I'm up there. Maybe the most I've jumped in a day was 6 times. So like, it's taught me that like over the other side of that fucking resistance is probably one of the best experiences of your life.
Yeah.
And to go for it. And like whatever I've experienced, like fear, like even this podcast, I was nervous to fucking start it and do it. But like, that's a sign to me that I need to go do this. That this is something that this is the path I should be walking towards.
It's gonna expand your boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then having the bigger boundaries, you're a more sound person.
More grounded. I understand, I think, reality for what it is a little bit better than somebody who's a little bit too much in their head. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of grasping for content here.
Well, no. Okay. So to pick up where you were leaving off.
Please go off on a tangent. I would love to eat some pasta.
Well, yeah. Let's go off on a tangent. And the tangent is So you were saying that there are certain situations where you get nervous. I'll tell you right now, like literally, I don't get nervous because I don't give a fuck. Because like there's only one scenario where I might get a little nervous.
So it's not that you don't get nervous. I think you perceive it as excitement instead. So what skydiving taught me is that I'm fucking nervous. But they've proven that the same hormones and everything that's reacting in your body for fear and excitement is the same. It's all about perception. Yeah. So what I think is that it's not that you're not nervous. It's that you've trained yourself to perceive it as, oh, fuck yeah. And it's like hype.
Yeah.
And like you're fucking hyped to do it. And that's, and like I think my from my upbringing and everything, I think I get nervous naturally. But once I'm in the zone, I'm able to turn it into like, it's just fucking, we hit it running.
Yeah.
So I'll always get nervous, but like when I'm in it, oh, you cannot stop me.
Yeah, see, I agree with that. I agree with that aspect of like when I get into a situation where I could be nervous, it's more like cool. I'm excited. I need to just plunge into this thing because my personal experience is when being nervous, if I just meet that shit head on, then it becomes some kind of really enlightening or really good experience. Whereas, like, if I shy away from it, which I don't do anymore, but if I shy away from it, then it becomes like I was nervous and I got scared.
An overarching shadow.
Yeah.
That follows
Man,
you.
I'm fucking starting to slur my words, though. My tongue's getting heavy.
Oh, boy. All right. So, chat, I have some topics in mind. Do you guys have anything that you want to hear from us before we maybe we'll go into like a last 20-minute session? And
let's do the chat
we'll do a little chat Q&A right now. I did say we want to do socialism, communism, and capitalism, but I think we could say that for next time, to be honest. I feel like we could go on for hours about that.
Just so you know, that's a conversation I'd really like to have.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should have that one. I think that the only reason is like that's a good convo that I think we should have when we have more time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, chat, you guys got anything? We're open to chat now. Chat, you're part of us now. Please talk to us. If you're lurking, I mean, I guess keep lurking, but
now's the time.
Now's the time if you have anything you want to talk about, because I'm eating pasta here, so please. Why is Woodrow Wilson the worst president? I actually don't know anything about Woodrow Wilson.
I know something about Woodrow Wilson. You know why he's the worst president?
Why?
Because he was before all the presidents that actually did something. And he didn't do shit. And he could have done shit first and set up all the other presidents.
Damn, that's a good answer.
Bam.
All right, so...
Hey, like that, Diddles. I see your history knowledge and I match it with other history knowledge.
It seems chat has forsaken us.
They're gone.
So, okay. Let's wrap it up with some closing thoughts then. We've been going for 4 hours almost. I think this was great. Customs, yes, I know that was coming.
Customs.
So we'll do this. Closing thoughts, Silent. Anything you got? Anything last things you want to say? Wrap up our whole conversation. What did we talk about? So we started with streaming. Had the stream talk. We talked about energy. That was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about manifestation. Not manifest destiny, but manifestation. The secret. Levels of energy. Religion. Fuck, man. Holy shit.
Meditation.
Meditation. Imagination. The highest level of creation. Elon Musk. The highest... The future. Literally just the future. I'll just say the future. Like SpongeBob meme, Squidward future. Everything's chromed. Damn, we went into everything. We went into a lot. This was a good one. Okay for the first episode of Real Talks with Rio. Let's get a hold on. I got a sound effect for this. Wait, where is it?
You got a sound effect for the guy. He's prepared.
Where is it? Hold up. Wait a minute. Here we go. Round of applause for everybody. Silent, thank you for coming on. Thank you, chat, for being interactive and sticking it out with us. I was actually surprised how many people were chilling here. So thank you so much, guys. Everybody, give me some clap emotes. We got the clap emote in chat. Give me some claps. Thank you guys so much. It was actually a lot of fun. I am so happy the way this turned out. The first one. Oh wait, that's Naruto. Yikes. Okay, we're not gonna start that.
Rio, I will say I am glad because, in all honesty, me being a non-nervous person, I wasn't nervous about it at all. The only stipulation I have, I know it's Rio's first podcast, so I really hope it goes well because it sets the mold for his next podcast. I will say this, guys, if you manage to make it through all of this, I have talked with Rio about his future plans about different podcasts. And this was the only one that's like kind of like, well, let's just fucking go with it. And it went relatively well. But the ideas that he has for his next podcast are like, woo, you better check these ones out because they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Hopefully. I mean, I have ideas. Whether people like it or not, it's up to them. I hope so. But this is not the end of Silent K and Rio. Who knows? Maybe he'll be even episode 2 if we fucking feel like it. I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out. Are you gonna start streaming? Are you gonna do your customs now, or?
I mean, if you're ending your stream now, then yes, I will continue.
Okay.
Customs.
So what I recommend is that you start your stream so I can raid you as I bring up these final things. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been here from the start, like Apache Attack Helicopter, not Mr. Dingles, I think you guys have been here for a fucking long time. Even Violet. Like, thank you guys so much for sticking around. The VOD will be on YouTube, as well as you can find it on my Twitch channel. But if you guys, this is my info. It's only been here the entire episode, so if you want to go check me out on Twitter and Instagram, and my YouTube is the same as my Instagram. I know it's not listed there, but it's the same exact thing. Actually, real quick, that's my Instagram and Twitter right there. Boom. Okay, that's the cool little fucking graphic. You can also find the graphics. This is an amazing streamer who I probably will have on as well. Her name is Cammy. This is her fucking Twitch. Go check her out. I will definitely be having her on the stream at some point for a talk. So when does this go on podcast app? So I'm going to look into that. Essentially, I am going to rip the audio from the VOD, and hopefully I can find a way to put it on fucking the iTunes store or just a podcast app. If not, however, I will be putting the audio on a SoundCloud link where you can download it or some type of external drive, and I'll just put the link into the YouTube video. Worst case scenario, I will just recommend to you YouTube to MP3 the video. I didn't say that though, TOS. And nor will this be. I'm gonna cut this part out of the video. Probably not. Fuck it. Okay, so silent.
There we go.
Closing thought. Oh god, here come the hiccups.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
What do we got? Wait.
Feel free to follow me at twitch.tv/Riofacer. Wait, you guys are already here. Just hit that follow button. Hit that fucking notification bell. Know when I go live. I am a League streamer. We're going to be streaming live tomorrow. Currently, these are the things that I am doing. If you want to keep up to date with me, challenge. That's how you spell it, right? And budget. These are the two events that are going on right now. I have a competition with Kaylee. Lol Kaylee, go check her out. I have a competition.
Please check her out. She is so good.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. I love her. And she's fucking so good at League. So if you want to learn about League, go check her out. I'm also going in this Budget Rivals tournament. These are my teammates' links if you guys want to check that shit out. Do you all believe in the multiverse? We'll talk about that on episode 2.
I'll say yes, but it's all the same thing as the universe. That's what I'll say, Apache.
Nice. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm going to write that down. And yeah. All right. So Silent, are you streaming right now?
Yeah, I just started up.
Are you rateable?
I'm rateable.
So if you're from my camp, definitely go check out Silent. I'm literally going to send you right there, right now. Silent _K with 2 eyes, right? Why don't I not see you?
Silent K. That's what they call
Is
me.
it okay? So
in those games.
SIIENT _K.
Yep.
Why do I not see you?
I don't fucking know. Game hates me.
This is what I'm looking at.
Just do the /raid. I mean, it should work because I'm definitely streaming.
So wait, if I go to your channel, will that just work if I do that?
Well, okay. So in your chat, just type /raid space science.
Gotcha.
That's the easiest way to do it.
I never realized that. Okay, let's see if that works. Invalid username. Silent K. Oh, I keep putting the L. That's why.
Everybody does. That's how I don't get ghosted, guys.
That's how I don't.
Anyone's gonna ghost me in high gold.
Okay, so we're gonna go raid Silent K. If you're just tuning in, we are actually at the end of the stream here. We're gonna go raid Silent K, who is my phenomenal guest here. I guess I'm gonna also be supporting Violet in one of the customs that's coming up. I love you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, and please give me feedback. I would love to know what you guys thought about this. I am very active on Twitter. Please hit up my Twitter. That is the link to my Twitter down there. That is my username. Shut up, Apache. If you guys stuck with us the entire 4 fucking hours, thank you so much. This was a awesome first episode. I'm so happy with how this turned out. And if you're watching the VOD or you're listening to the podcast from whatever source of audio that you have, thank you so much for getting to the end. I didn't think we'd ever get here. And I will love any feedback you guys have. Please hit my Discord up, hit my links up right here. Twitch.tv/Riofacer with 2 R's at the end. Riofacer lol on Twitter, Riofacer on Instagram, Riofacer on YouTube. Is that enough plugs? I think so. And all right, Silent, take it away. You got anything?
You know it's funny. You know it's funny. I was evaluating your ability to be a host right here. And yes, I'm slurring a little bit because I've been drinking. But I was evaluating your ability to be a host because I knew that you were doing a closing statement. But I was wondering, were you going to give your special guest
of course
the platform to do a closing statement? Because normally it would be you do yours first and then you do somebody else's. I was expecting you as an amateur, as the first podcast to do me first, then you. But it actually is perfect for you to do you first, then the guest. And so, as the first appearance on it, I'm glad that you really liked it, Rio, because that was the main thing that I was concerned with. Oh God, I already got hosted, guys. I already got hosted. Anyways, I'm really glad that you gave me the platform because I am Silent K, but that is Sciint with 2 I's. The L is an I underscore K on Twitch TV. You can find me there. I stream 5 days a week. Wednesdays and Thursdays are my day off, but in general, you can catch me on those days. And in general, you'll find that people like Rio or people like anyone, we have a lot of really interesting conversations and we have a lot of really good networks. So you should not only check out Rio because Rio is part of the network, but you should check out our entire network, which is like a shout out to, Kaylee, which is a shout out to David, which is a shout out to Crazy who just rated me, etc. And in general, like hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast.
Yes. Please give us your feedback.
I can say I will not be a part of every single podcast, but I can say that Rio ran this podcast very well. And I'm actually excited to see his next guests because I know who they are.
I'm also going to say, like, goddamn, this is the first episode to live up to, so I'm going to have to do some thinking again. Goddamn, we might have to... Oh, fuck, man. This is a high bar to set. Okay, so... Podcast was too short. We'll take it into consideration. Thank you. 4 hours. All right, so I'm going to end it here. Yes, shout out Lil Kaylee. Thank you, Ace. And love everybody. Check out Silent. We're going to hop over there for some fucking customs because League content and we're gamers and Corona and we're going to fucking game because we got nothing else to do.
Because Corona.
And stay safe. And I love all of you. Forehead kiss for everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Real Talks with Rio. Take care, guys. And I'm going to do this cool thing where I go to the end scene. Woo! Outro music with end scene. Here we go.